Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. So, finally on time for my own streams for once, so that's rather good, isn't it? So, here we go. Yeah, I was just getting everything ready there, getting the actual turn in place, so we are good to go here. Apologies just for the silence. Oh, boy. I mean, this is, it's a big turn. It's a big turn. I mean, there's a lot that might happen here. What's up there, Blinton? Hello there, Carl Mai, a lot of you guys here in. Hello there, Battling Geezer, AT, Justin, Rainbow, Imperator Thrawn, Carl, Flint, Justin again, Dobrik, Hussar, Swordfish. Good man, what's up there, my friends? Good to see you all. Yeah, this is one of those turns. What's up there, Roland Dutchy? Good to see you again, my friend. Yeah, I'm going to say this is probably one of these turns when I actually do have the apprehension. I think it very much reminds me of the Battle of Mersing, because there's a lot that's potentially riding on this. There's a lot on this. Hello there, Borian. Urmoniri? I don't know how you pronounce that. I'm bad at this. So there, Commissar Roach, how you guys doing? No Name Spore, Pirate Joe. My god, you guys are out in force. Seems like it's going to be a very exciting turn, it seems. So there, Alexander. Yeah, so, I mean, this is it. I mean, we really do have to, like, preface this by saying we have potentially a shot. It's a very small chance, really. I'm not entirely sure, like, certain what our chances actually are of potentially striking lucky, but I'm gonna say probably not very high. So it will be one of these things where we'll hope for it. We will hope for a strike. That would be amazing. We don't know what THG is doing, we have no idea what is going to happen here. We don't know if it's going to go north, we don't know if it's going to go east, west or south. There's a lot of valid options for him to do. It really does very much depend on what his mentality is and what he actually achieves here. Well, hopes to achieve. And I suppose the direction in which he goes will actually reveal a lot of that information, because in reality, it's like, if he goes to the north, okay. So that's going to be continuation of the Spawn attack, potentially, as obviously he's moving away from Kiributai. We could see him potentially pulling out back towards Pearl Harbor and the safety of that secure anchorage, which obviously would be a very small strike, something very retaliatory, just something of, hey, I'm here, focus on me. He may in fact go south and attempt to try and interfere with the operations to the south. He might even continue to go potentially to the west, which would be a very interesting one. Very bold. That would definitely be a very interesting one. Oh, you're working nights this week, my dude. Ah, man, I hope you have a good one, though. So is rough working nights. A question, I do not remember about the Congo. Yes, Congo is alive in Hong Kong at the moment. Right, hello there, Mark, Talon, Caspen, and yeah, everything always goes south, yeah, I know, right. So, let's go ahead and take a look at the name of the game then, shall we? What if he just attacks again? I mean, he might stay in place, but it's going to be really interesting. You're crazy Ivan his way west, maybe. I mean, this is it, I've been worried about that one. We'll see. I think everything in that area is ideally out of range, but we'll see. I mean, you are right back, so it would be a bit early for a full carry battle, but this is it. It's like if he does push it, we can respond to that. I mean, Kiributai isn't in the best shape right now, but we still have the numbers. And it would be interesting because we could try to dictate a midway-style battle, really on our own terms here, so that would be rather intriguing. Okay, so we're looking for turn 20. Carriers, they're fun to play with, no? Oh, that son of a bitch. I mean, I really do admire THG, he's a fantastic guy. Really a good adversary. But to be honest, he bloody loves to tease me. He winds me up like crazy. He absolutely loves to do it as well. So let's go ahead then. Wow, there's a lot riding on this here, isn't there? There's a lot riding on this. Take it as it comes then, eh? Take it as it comes. The good news is at least Kiributai isn't threatened as far as I know. The operations to the south aren't entirely threatened, so we're just going to have to see how this goes then. Very nervous, very apprehensive. Oh, that's very good then. So we do occupy that base there. Right, here we are at night. naval reaction phase. I'm not gonna lie, I've got... my heart is beating here. Right, RO-33, what have we found here? So we destroy Adsal. So we elude the Adsal here. Though she does get into position above here. Rattling this up at the moment. Okay. Looks as if we sustained a little bit of damage there. It does very much seem as if his actual escorts have become... Oh, no, we do not actually receive damage. That's good news, then. I was about to say, it looks as if his escorts are just suddenly becoming rather more effective. But we do manage to escape the Alsal. That's quite good. What is it, XT? What's up there, Chainsaw Joe? How you doing, my friend? Love you guys, you're stylistically different, but both great opponents, both have good humor and respect in how you... Yeah, this is it. I mean, I really do respect how THG does it. It's like we do things in very different ways, fundamentally. But, I mean, this is it. At least you guys get to see it really from a different point of view and in a different... Ooh, Hakakazi there dodges the torpedo. Looks like the SS Pickerel over here. She's attempted to dodge out of the way of our ASW. Ah, hello, there we go. Look, Yins, hello. There we go, that's what I like to see. Let's try and force her to the surface here. Right, take a look at the situation. You can see possibly 1, 2, 3 submarines over here. I'm not seeing anything over here over the Celebes Sea, obviously Celebes Sea. But this is good, so Pickerel there takes 2 hits, and that looked like it hurt. And so that's good news. I mean, that is actually pretty good. I mean, Japanese ASW isn't particularly amazing. We have had good success in the past, but that's obviously due to the actual terrain here. So I believe this is actual shallow ocean, perhaps? It could even be potentially deep ocean. I'm not entirely sure what it is at this point, in particular just outside Brunei. But we did venture out there with the Hakakazi, the light cruiser Naka, Haishinyo. Yeah, a good number of actual destroyers there, so that's good, very good. Good hit on Pickerel. Indeed, somebody caught a Pickerel. Right merchant there. So that would be the 56th Division dispatched now from Formosa. Ideally it makes it out there. Right. Scientins coming in here. Right, okay, we are spotting the enemy carriers here. 10 allied ships moving east, Speed 5. Torpedo miss here, so he does have Dutch submarines out in this area of the Celebes Sea. Okay, that's good information there. He hasn't actually gone in for the attack on the carriers there, that is quite good. I'm hoping that this is the right choice to actually possibly push this position here. He knows the, carriers are here, so he may very well attempt something. I'm hoping he would, try to attempt it from the south here and the Saddam Sea, though more than likely it's going to come from the Macassar Strait. This is obviously where Java is. He's going to have pretty decent naval assets down that way. But so far, so good here. It's pronounced like a stereotypical Italian. Celebes. So, but Infinite, he was talking trash in one stream, made me want to challenge him and smack his ass. I think this is it. It's like I've had to learn a lot since starting this play by email. And the thing is, this is very much a trial by fire. You have to learn and be willing to learn. And I don't mind losing. And to be honest, I'm one of those people when the less I have, and the harder I have to work to use it, I enjoy that more. It's strange like that, really. I always love playing the underdog. Okay. Something... Right, okay, so the destroyer there went down at Talawa. S-28 over here, so the allied submarine S-28. Escort abandons the search for a submarine here. Okay. So we have spotted the enemy carriers. That's good. That is part of the formula there. Okay. Now, don't quote me on how night attacks work. This would be the first night attack, so I don't know whether it'll come in the air phase, but if that is the end of the night phase, then it looks as though it doesn't actually happen, but we'll see what happens here. Yeah, I can imagine on, late war Japan. Right, it might be that I don't know how it works, so I'm hoping that they'll come in this phase, but I'm not sure. Okay. Right. It looks as if they're heading north now. Oh, no, that would be our patrol boats. Never mind. So, yeah, the patrol boats are now in force here. It looks as if he's headed possibly to the east, and that's rather interesting. We're not seeing him here. Right, we just spotted Allied torpedo bombers. He might actually have something in the Java Sea. He could potentially have Hermes down that way. Now, we did decide to go ahead and send two... Yeah, that's definitely a Allied task force there to the south of Borneo. Interesting. No night attacks. Ah, that's a shame. But we'll see what happens here. We always do have another chance. Right, so we are going in here to actually hit Balikpapan. Let's see how this goes. Someone misidentified, definitely carries though. Yeah, that's true. B339D destroyed. Yeah, it would have been amazing to have had a shot at the carriers, but there's always next time. Okay, we are getting in here then. This is going to be nice. See, the interesting thing is we definitely see a force over here, and that does have torpedo bombers, so that, I've got to theorize, is more than likely the light carrier Hermes. We can see some rather large bombs over here. Right, good, we actually hit the AVD, that's very nice. This is good. What we're trying to do here then is really send a message home that there is no safe haven in Borneo anymore. His times of hiding are over, really. His time, well, the safe haven is no longer safe. Right. Your day is ruined. I don't know, we'll see how things go. We'll see how things go. At the end of the day, there's the rest of the turn to actually not really occur yet, so I'm going to be rather intriguing. But this attack looks to be pretty good, actually. These B5N1Ks are doing a very good job. Right, yeah. Okay, that was a good result there. So one B339D destroyed there at least, and wow, that is a... Wow, okay, so let's take a look at what we had in here. So the AVD yard shields are 2 bomb hits, heavy fire, 7 damage, Lilman. So... Right, transport, I think this is just a patrol craft, but that's very good shooting their attacks to actually hit that. These are patrol boats, I do believe. AG Jammer. Yeah, another patrol boat over here. Okay, that's pretty nice, actually. That's pretty good. I mean, at the end of the day, these are only small... There's no tankers in here. I mean, the best target would have been the AVD there, more than likely. And we'll go over it at the end of the turn, but that's good. So we'll actually do... Well, actually do quite a number there on the Allied shipping inside Balikpapan. Which is good news. We do have 2 light cruisers here, 4 destroyers moving down this way. I think we did indeed send a submarine down to this end over here. They may intercept, but we'll see what happens. You know what, I completely forgot I sent this raid in. I think I did it about 20,000 feet, but I completely forgot about that. Okay, so we have P-35s here versus the I-27s. So basically the trash versus the chaff. But the trash looks to be doing alright here. I'm going to imagine that's due to the altitude. Right. Yeah, minor transport Turkish issue, but that's good. I mean, we didn't take any losses there, nor any damage to our aircraft, so that's a good result there. And at the end of the day, it's shipping that's going to be denied to him here. I mean, as far as it goes to the Marsh Island, it is going to be a very interesting one. We know the carriers are in the area. From what I could see, it looks as if they're heading west to the east. Now, he may be swinging back out and around to the north, maybe. He may consider heading to Wake. I mean, there's a lot of options here. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of questions that have to be asked. Right, the P-35s break off. That's good. Okay, the Ki-48 is taking a little bit of damage there, but the air-to-air combat is done. Looks as though we do not take any losses here so far, but the flak might have something to say about that. Okay, so we can see fairly effective flak, but at 20,000 feet we seem to be relatively okay. Yeah, so 2 Ki-48s damage there. We don't see any allied losses as such, but now ideally this should actually just cause them a little bit of disruption, prevent them from really recovering fatigue or disruption as much as possible. Okay, yep, so here he is hitting Tarawa again, so we are seeing the 8 F4Fs. 7 F2As, and 8 F4Fs. Yep, so he's finishing off the forces over here. I don't know if our forces actually got out of here, the ones that were able to do so. But we can see that we do have flak firing at his aircraft over here, so that's good. We might yet damage one. Yep, one damage there. Any damage inflicted on his aircraft is going to make a difference here, so there is yet hope. There is yet hope. So that's interesting. It looks as though he's actually... Yeah, it looks like he's actually held position here. Right. Now that's very interesting. Okay, so of course we do see the additional losses there. Now... Okay, she's gone down. She's on fire, she's on fire. Okay, now for all those aircraft, he didn't actually do that well. There's 2 hits on the port there. 2 of his SPD-3s were damaged, releasing from 4,000 feet. Let's take a look at some of the actual information here. So, raid spotted at 10,000 feet. This might be due to the actual thunderstorms. The thunderstorms might have prevented us from actually potentially hitting his forces out here as well. So it does work both ways. But as far as I can tell, and whether or not he remains in that position is unknown. It's interesting to see, though, that his actual SPD-3s identified the patrol boats. So we know that he's using the SPDs as some kind of reconnaissance. Okay, so it looks as if he's going for the Megami here. Now this, yeah, the Megami, and I can't remember the name of the other heavy cruiser, but let's hope that they make it through. Don't. Oh, don't you dare. Come on. Don't you do it. Oh. Oh, please no. Yes! Ha ha ha! A fucking all! Okay. Ah. Fucking clenching there. Clinched it, boys. Oh. Oh, Jesus Christ. Whew. Oh, he's not going to be happy about that one. He's not going to be happy about that one. But there's 1 destroyed there, 2 damaged. Now, it's really interesting, because I do not know what is actually here. It might even be potentially worthwhile for us actually to send 4 of the destroyers down here to possibly sortie here at night. We'll see how this goes. Yeah, that was close. Man, that was a clinched... that was good. He's not going to be... Well, he's not going to be particularly happy about that. Right, air operations PM, okay. But at least we know where another carrier is now, so that's fantastic. Very good news. Okay, submarine's being sighted over here. Right, our Glenn is giving us information. Right, okay, so you can see the SPDs, SPD-2s, SPD-2, SPD-3, 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 TBD-1 Devastator, TBD-1 Devastator. Okay, so he's definitely using them as his eyes and ears, as you can imagine. Airstrikes. But we know where actually 2 of his carriers is. And that's actually interesting. We could potentially overpower his actual carrier force now with fairly relative ease. Maybe. We should have twice the number of strike planes or strike craft to actually go ahead and potentially target them. It's actually really opened up a very interesting route here. He does have a lot of submarines in the area, but we should be able to potentially bypass them if we make full speed here. It's going to be very interesting. We definitely do have the Zeros. So it looks as though he's definitely brought Hermes to play here. When are you planning to invade the Dutch East Indies? I mean, we're already technically invading the Dutch East Indies. Okay, so he's hitting Taiwan again. Okay, interesting. And this is additional time for AA to actually hit his aircraft over here. But he doesn't look to be moving, and I find that really, really interesting, actually. Yes, another 1,000-pound bomb hit there, critical damage. Okay, now, even with a 1,000-pound bomb hit, interesting it said critical damage, I don't know how critical that is, but he's not really hitting much. This is really very, very interesting. So what altitude was this then? 11,000 feet here. Now that's intriguing, so it seems as if he has something of a varied level. But we can see here F2As, F1Fs, F4Fs. Okay, the good news is this is actually going to build up some of their fatigue to a degree. Only a small margin, but it could make a big difference in the end. But I do find this very interesting that he's actually remaining here. It might be possibly some sort of ruse, maybe. Yeah, I'd imagine he might head out. I mean, this might be why we didn't actually get a strike on him, because he's actually out of range here. We set our range... Actually, no, technically he's within range at 15 hexes. We might have just missed him here, but it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Remember that just because you have more fighters doesn't mean that his planes can't get through. Yeah, that is very true. If he can stall the air fight long enough, he can get to your carriers 100%. The difficulty is, though, he only has... From what I can summarize and assume that is the Hermes, he really only has the actual swordfish there. You have a beachhead on Sarawak. We are going to be moving to Sumatra or Java in the future, don't you worry about that one. We're actually preparing for operations to hit Mindanao in possibly 3 locations within the next day or 2. Possibly 4 locations. I can imagine he'll bug out for certain the next turn. We'll see. Okay, another 3 swordfish come in here. Please do not... Fucking hate that shit. I hate that shit. Oh man, okay. Though that is very interesting, they're only using bombs here. I mean, still, it's a 500-pound bomb, but it's not a torpedo. 10,000 feet, thank Christ for that. I mean, I don't know how many torpedoes he may have aboard there. The CVL Hermes only carries 12 torpedoes. Right, okay. So that was his only torpedo strike. Very interesting. Yeah, depending on what he actually has in that task force, it may very well be worthwhile as going in there. We do have an additional 9 A6M2 at Miri. They do have the range to reach the straits there. That could be very good. Oh, thank God for that. But then again, there's a lot to be said here about there's a lot of submarines in this area. Maybe we might want to move out of this area. Possibly. It might not be worth it to just chance fate, as the Mikasa Strait is, yeah, quite dangerous in this area. We do have submarines in this area, so we could potentially send them. It might be that, oh, what's the saying now? I can't remember what the actual saying now is. What is it? Prudence is the best part of valor? I can't remember what the actual saying is. Okay, swordfish over here. God damn you, swordfish. Hit but no explosion. Swordfish is bottoming out. Okay. Right, 2 torpedoes there. Very, very interesting turn. I'm very surprised he hasn't yet moved. Okay, the 100th Corps really still holding out there. We'll try to break them again here. I really do need to take control of the city. We'll see how it goes. I put some carrier planes in ASW duty. We will more than likely do that. We did send them on a well, basically a port strike, but it might be just better to bug out ourselves to a degree. We'll discuss that one. The 22nd's looking pretty beaten up. It's really just the 100th here. 542, 339. Okay, the fortifications are reduced to 0 now, so there's no additional aid for him. What were the numbers like? So 883 casualties, 749 allied casualties. Okay, so we are seeing a lot of our squads disabled. This is going to see these divisions having to rest for quite some time here. Well, for a fair while, but we are breaking the Chinese here slowly but surely. We do lose 3 guns, but the Chinese lose another 13 guns. Remember that we do not have the advantage in guns from the start. I think they had something like maybe 25% of the guns we had. Yeah, 306 guns to 90 guns. We have the vehicles, of course. So, yeah, he has no additional fortifications now. So, before he had the, okay, defend terrain, leaders, preparation experience. Okay, attack enough in here. We'll see what the actual disruption and fatigue is looking like. But I think the city may, in fact, either fall tomorrow or the day after. Indeed, fortune favors the bold, but so does misfortune. Yep, here we go. Japanese shock attack at Taiping. The 91st Naval Guard has arrived here. And Taiping falls. Yep, they're retreating towards Kuala Lumpur. Very good. I was hoping that we would have actually had that force just outright surrender, considering this was a shock attack. So that was 106 to 3. Surprising, actually just did not outright surrender. 411 casualties there, yeah. They're not in a great situation there. So this is good. With Taiping secured, we can now begin to move additional forces down here ASAP. We do have forces already prepared to move out via the rail lines to this situation, to this position here. Now, I do believe that this hex over here is actually clear terrain. What I'm going to do is march the 91st, I believe it is, yes, the 91st, straight down here to deal with this force, and then we'll have this, we'll have the 5th Division, I believe it is, the 5th Division to form up over here. I think I do have another unit of armor that is going to begin to make its way down ASAP. We might have the armor make their way down here independently as fast as possible, but we'll see how that turns out. But that is Taiping secured there. Okay. Whew. I'm gonna say that was a good turn for us. That was a good turn. We've discovered that he was intended to actually send a small carrier at our own forces, so that's good. That's very good that we've been able to dodge that one. So it seems he intended, well, he assumed that we'd be moving down into that strait, so I'm glad that we did not. That's been proved worthwhile. Whew. Importantly, yeah, wow, okay. That was a, that was a pretty interesting turn there. Now, do we still have, yeah, we still have vision over the carriers here. Now, I don't know what our detection level is over these carriers. Infinite, if you're still in the chat there, could you tell me, is it possible to check the, detection level of enemy ships? But the good news is here that all these patrol boats actually do survive. There's actually still ships over here in Tarawa. Amazingly, so his forces aren't as effective as he would like them to be. So all the warships have gone down, true. But we do have, yeah, these ships are not actually on fire here. The flotation isn't too bad. Only on the Montevideo Maru is it 49. Actually, not too bad. Battling Giza, what is your screen resolution? I'm using One Pacific at 1920 by 1080. Do you have any fleets near Wenchao to shell then? Possibly. Though it might not actually be required. Ship sunk, yeah, we'll take a look at that shortly. Yeah, and just as you say there, Justin, lots of excitement squeezed into just a few events there. Idea, send PT boat to the carriers. That actually was the initial idea here. See, what I'm going to do is we'll go over the turn resolution and then I'll actually bring it back up in the window so we can take a look. But that was actually really good. I mean, that was very good. I mean, of course, we did lose some additional ships over here, but they were sitting ducks. Importantly, the Kashima Maru makes it out. The Tatsuhara makes it out. Of course, the Toyotsu Maru makes it out as well. I mean, all of the patrol boats actually survive. He actually does not hit the airfield, which is really intriguing. So that actually does allow us to bring another 2 H6K4 Mavises online, and which actually gives us additional reconnaissance available in this area here. So to recap, what have you lost in these 2 raids? So in these 2 raids, we have lost the light cruiser Tenru, and we have lost 2 destroyers. We'll have to double check that. A few transports, and I think it was a passenger ship or 2, something in that sort of region. But yeah, I'm rather intrigued. I suppose this was an option that we actually didn't... I mean, I suppose we discussed it ever so slightly, the potential for him to actually stay put. But I didn't think he'd go for it. But I suppose this is actually the best of both worlds in a way. We'll see. Okay, right, show the air losses. Yep, sure. Okay, so air losses. Today. Okay, so we lose another of our, well, another 2 of our reconnaissance. He has lost, actually, 2 SPD-3s there. 2 B339s. So there, Rez, how you doing, my friend? Evening to you as well. He lost 2 swordfish. We, of course, do lose a K-48. A Nate. He's actually lost a B-17 and a PBY 5. That's interesting. I'm rather intrigued about the P-17, though. I wonder where that was. That was operational, actually. That's intriguing. But that's good. I'm very glad about that. Okay, so we'll go ahead and take up the ship losses then. So ships sunk then. Let's take a look. Last turn then. So of course we do lose the Ikazuki. I mean, she was absolutely buggered. She wasn't looking particularly great. It's a shame because she was actually fairly nice, effective destroyer there. But alas, obviously this is the situation. We didn't know what was coming. I suppose we did to a degree, but we were hoping that the H6K4s would have actually picked it up. But unfortunately they did not. But she goes down. Now, it is listing the Pickerel as having been sunk over here, but I don't know. She did take 2 hits. I don't think they were that damaging for her to be taken out, but that's still another US naval, well, a US submarine that is damaged there. Okay. Then on our own raid, we do hit a number of ships. So, of course, these are very small. Yeah, that's a coastal class. That's a Pacific S class. Not massive ships here, not massive. But still, that was a raid that cost us nothing. And produced some results first, so that's quite good. Yep, Gemma. Damn you, Gemma. Though it's actually not listing everything here. Of course, it did show us that we did inflict quite a lot of damage on the AD, so it's not confirmed. I mean, of course, these are just, like, open to interpretation of the pilot reports. Of course, pilots do get pretty carried away in action, don't they? So we'll see. Concerning the enemy carriers, do suppose he'll bug out at full speed or mission speed? I doubt he'd say, well, at cruise speed. Wow. Pickerel only took 1 bad hit. Probably not enough to sink her, but damage enough maybe she'll go down on the way to port. Maybe she'll have to bugger off. She'll have to bugger off, I'd imagine. Okay, so what we'll do here then is quickly go back here to ship sunk. We'll take a look at the last month then. Okay, so that was the start of the campaign. Actually, let's take a look. So, this was the current turn. This was the time before. So, we did, I mean, technically, supposedly, we might have actually had a US submarine actually go down to mines. We did hit a couple of these transports as well. The biggest loss really was the loss of Kamoy. That did hurt. And of course the light cruiser Tenru. So all in all, it could have been worse. Could have been better, of course, but it could have been significantly worse. But this is really going to be something that we can chew the fat on, actually. Because this actually does help us to a pretty extraordinary degree. Because this is, in effect, a day of which, well, our submarines are able to move into position. Which is really good. Really good. We might even pick up some additional reconnaissance that will actually make this even better for us. But as far as we can see here, so we do obviously need to check across the Pacific here just to see if anything has changed. As far as I can tell, not particularly huge amounts here. Okay. Are you getting the game at full screen? Yes, I am. If you'd like me to explain how to do that, I can do so shortly. Okay, so we can see here a BB, CVL, CL, CL, CL. Okay, yeah, 10 bombers, 11 auxiliaries. So I'm going to, well, assume that that would be the float planes. But the good news is, yeah, I mean, look, we had a submarine I-122 just nearby. Now, I do have an additional 2 submarines over here, so I imagine they're probably coming from over here at Asia, I don't know how to pronounce it, it's bloody Dutch at the end of the day. So we do have an opportunity here to actually possibly sneak in here. And the battleship would be a nice target. The Hermes would be a good target as well. I mean, the Hermes at the end of the day, she's only Hermes. But still, that is another flat top to deny him. And that would be nice. Right. Yep, I'll go over that shortly, Battling Geezer. You have my word on that. Okay, so the forces over here have been finally wiped out. The issue is we are not actually on the rail line at Maban, so we are going to have to march back onto the rail line, which, to be honest, it'd probably be easy just to pick them up via naval transport and move them elsewhere. Now, our landings over here. Amazingly, Task Force 17 is undetected. And Task Force 306 is undetected. That is a fantastic result there. The question being, is that really BB? It could very well be. I mean, the Prince of Wales was hit by two 2 torpedoes. Not enough to damage her. Fairly badly, but not enough to kill her. The battle cruiser Repulse was hit by only 1 torpedo, so she could have actually been repaired and brought back into action. Possibly not fully repaired, but enough to probably be battle-worthy, or maybe ocean-worthy within a month, which she's been probably under repair for. But that is very interesting. I think we'll approach this with submarines. Begin today, I think, yeah. Okay. It'd be something to chew the fat on. I wouldn't send subs against it as it's as Commonwealth destroyers have the best early war ASW. And potentially so. It was 4 torpedoes, 1 dud, 3 non-duds. Ah, that's a shame. Had that dud not been a dud, it could have been a different result there. Of course, we should have hit these at the very start of the campaign. It was due to me actually making a bloody mistake in the opening phase. Well, in the opening setup, as I'd accidentally set the G3s and the G4s to night attack by mistake. But this is it. I've learned a lot since then, and we are learning together here. So, it's led to an interesting result here. Right, we are still seeing his forces over here at Mersing, and yeah, we didn't see any battle join there, which is good information. I think we might be able to actually rebuild the 124th Infantry Regiment in the future, which is good. I think they will survive. I feel somewhat confident that they will actually survive here. They've got some phenomenal planning, and the good news is about that I can actually have that planning then switched over to either Singapore or even potentially to Johor Bahru, but probably better over at Singapore. Now, with the fall of Taiping, he does still have a unit over here, but we do have the ability to move now, which is great news. So we're going to begin to move up the 91st, so the 91st is going to move up here immediately. To be honest, we're going to just tell them, let's see. So if they head straight out to Kuala Lumpur, so that's 184 miles. Now, it's actually interesting because it's not showing them as heading into combat here. So which way are they bloody well going? Let's double check here. So now it's listing the enemy over here, but that's fine. So begin to move your asses into gear ASAP. Yeah, I mean, we actually did have a good result there. I mean, that was a arse-clenching moment with the torpedo bombers, but as stated in the chat there, he really didn't have many torpedoes to actually throw around, so that's probably his chance there gone. Yeah, it looks rather interesting. Looks like a rather interesting turn. But I suppose, in all honesty, it's rather intriguing when he decided to stay put with his carriers. I mean, that is a bold move, and I suppose he's based that one on the assumption, well, I don't know if it is even an assumption. He has pretty good reconnaissance in that area with his SPDs, TPDs, and SPD2s. Of course, the SPD2 and 3s don't run reconnaissance as well as the TPD1s. So he, well, of course, he's going to have probably Kingfishers as well. I think that's the US seaplane of choice at this moment in time. So yeah, he probably had pretty good results there. Well, pretty good information in that area. Aren't the troops in Mersing in huge danger? They were in the first few days, but actually now the situation at Mersing has, for the most part, stabilized. And yeah, it is a very difficult, yeah, look at that, 169. So this assault value has really risen. I mean, we can consider actually pushing additional supplies in here. I mean, because we have never actually, well, we launched one attack, which was nice. We launched one counterattack that was actually successful, which would probably help them out a great deal. But you can see here the support is increasing here too. That's good, very good. But yeah, because of the fact that they haven't actually been actively fighting as such, they defend themselves, but they're not out there attacking the enemy. They've not been using a huge amount of supply, which is brilliant. We have been bringing in little bits of extra supply as well. So that's been nice there. Okay. But yeah, his forces in Mersing really, they're going to retreat. They're going to retreat. I can imagine they're probably going to begin retreating now if they're not already retreating. Because he's actually exposing himself here to quite a lot of danger. Which is rather intriguing. I don't think it's possible for us to move all the way down here to Kuala Lumpur and all the way down here to Mersing. It depends, really. I think he's probably going to pull out. He might pull out once we actually reach Kuala Lumpur. Possibly so. It might be a little bit earlier than that. Might be a little bit later. But he's going to pull out there. He might go with one more shock attack, perhaps. Really just try a last last throw of the dice, really, just to try and force us out, really. But I think the 124th, and I think the units at Mersing will survive, so I think that was a gamble that was actually worthwhile, to be honest, as it means that they're in a position to then begin marching immediately on Johor Bahru, and obviously then to just secures another base there in that area. If he pulls back from Johor Bahru and into Singapore, that'd be great. That would be nice. But I doubt he's going to do that. He's going to fight a hold in action. But the good news is we can see that the torpedo boat and destroyer combination of fast transport is very effective. It's made it up and down here multiple times with great success. So that's good. We will use that. I think it might be worthwhile to drip feed additional reinforcements in here once he does actually pull back out, as I'll actually be able to control the base here at Mersing, which is actually going to give me a lot more variability, a lot more flexibility. And since the enemy is focused on Mersing, you can push north to south. Yeah, that's pretty much the plan here. We need to really ramp the speed up, but with the fall of Taiping, we're actually able to now begin to move here much faster. We wished to have landed at Mersing in the initial stages of the war, but I just did not have the experience and the know-how to really pull that off against a more experienced opponent, so we were slammed for that. Rightly so. But at the end of the day, that did lead us to actually learning a great lesson there. It did extend the Malayan campaign, and it did see us lose a good amount of troops and transports, but it has taught us a lesson, of course, as well as the battleship Haruna, God rest her soul. But indeed, it's been one of these where we've learned a lot here. Can you hit his bombers again, like, yeah. Possibly so, possibly so. I mean, the A6M2s have had some time to rest. We didn't actually see any bombing raids over here, actually, at all, which is intriguing. Right, so what's the plan with Kibutai now? We'll be checking on them shortly. I'm just going to check on the actual air squadrons over here, well, other squadrons here in general. Okay, so even with all of them resting, they still have some fatigue here. I think it's probably worthwhile, maybe another day or two to rest. I think at the end of the day, we can actually burn off this fatigue. Yeah, I mean, the pilots have got a fair amount of fatigue, so I think it's worthwhile to burn off this fatigue, perhaps. And it might be within acceptable standards. We'll have to double check. It might be just in the future, just, yeah. We might have the Ki-43s just escort the bombers and then have the A6M2s grouped as one giant force on sweep and send them all in at once, ideally. But, the issue is sweep missions do not coordinate. So, it's one of these. We'd have to send in the largest squadron to sweep, probably. We've learnt a lot of lessons over here. A lot of lessons. And what do you mean, God rest Haruna? You're not a Gaijin Christian, are you? Okay, okay, well... Kaiju rest her soul? That'll work. Clinched it. Saved. I'm back in with the kids now. Okay, let's take a look at some of the other results then. Now, of course, this force over here, yeah, he's actually not aware of his force. Is he actually... Okay, so he does have detection on Zuho and Ryuzhou. He has detection over here, so at the end of the day, we are going to pull out of the Makassar Strait. The danger is... Well, then again, is it great enough to force us to pull out? And now, supposedly, there is a heavy cruiser in there. I don't know how that is... in reality, but interesting. I think what we'll do is we'll send the submarines over here. I mean, we do have two submarines over here. We do have one that could be on station within a couple hours. Maybe an hour or two. I don't know how long it takes them to travel that distance. It's 40 miles, so not... Well, I suppose 40 miles, I don't know. Obviously, they've got to find them. But they could be on station fairly quickly. What do you have in terms of torpedoes? You're almost fully armed, which is good. You have no damage. You are... blessed with endurance of Achilles. Well, Heracles. So yeah, you could potentially even make full speed there. Your speed isn't exactly freaking amazing, but that's fine. Yeah, I can imagine they're disappointed. But the good news is here, all three landing forces are unspotted. We'll be landing over here at Davao, and we'll be landing over here at Cotabato. Cotabato within 2 days. Davao tomorrow will be landing. I might be landing at Zamboanga with the 16th Regiment tomorrow, depending on the actual speed at which these guys move. Then it might even be worthwhile to take Cebu, but I'd like to take control of Mindanao in like one fast action. But I mean, like 6,000, well, 3,000 troops here, 3,000 troops here. How many over here then? 2,500 troops over here. Obviously, load them back up, load them, well, drop them off elsewhere. Take control of Mindanao in a rapid action. Use that to solidify our control here. It's a good job that we didn't go for the fast transport down here immediately, because this could have been very dangerous. But it's interesting to see that Hermes is operating out here. Yeah, we can see here CVL. So Hermes is operating out of the Java Sea. That's good to know. Good to know. Previously, we had seen a lot of radio activity around Colombo over here, basically the British Empire's main port over here on Ceylon. So, that's good. Very good information there. Undetected, undetected. Undetected, undetected. Undetected, okay. Intriguing. I'm going to get some KA-44s to Borneo since the enemy keeps B-17 in it. Yeah, potentially so. Might be a good way to actually use them. Okay, so our E-13A1 Jake over there is not active. Okay. Not detected. Not detected. This is good. Right, not detected, not detected. I do worry about Savai. I do want to actually get some additional forces over that way. I'm going to put them on combat, to be honest, because, I don't know. I've got a feeling that he's going to be doing something there. We did see he is running reconnaissance over the island. Now, I do have 936 infantry, 752 other troops, 12 guns. I don't know what he might have in the area to actually throw at Savai. The issue is we don't have any fortifications. We don't really have a huge amount of supply on the island to actually begin building fortifications. I don't think we actually have any engineers. Only 4 pieces of artillery, technically. Let's take a look. I don't know. It might be worthwhile trying to ferry in some additional reinforcements here via the air. That might be done. I do have elements of the 66 Naval Guard over here, but that's not a huge amount. It's only another 150 odd men. I mean, he might make a landing over here at Funafuti. He might go for possibly over here. What I might be able to do then, let's take a look. So 52nd, 66, 52nd. I could potentially pick up elements of the 52nd, so that's 300 men over here. Another 300 men over here. Yeah, okay, what we might try to do here then, if it's indeed even possible, we might take these elements from Baker Island and Canton Island and potentially have them dropped off over here to survive. It would be risky, very risky, so it might be worthwhile to have them dropped off over here at Funafuti, or even had them drop off, I don't know, one of these islands. I don't have any AV over here, so in reality, the most those islands can do is just deny him the airfields. How well supplied is Kiributai? So, Kiributai is... strange. They've not moved as far as I would assume they did. Would have. I wonder why that is. Now, we did... right, it would be because of... I'm going to say because we told them to meet a force. The Euler. Interesting. Well, I expected them to be further along, but they're not. So we'll have to double check that one. I'm going to imagine it might be due to them actually waiting for a force here. So they're still roughly in the same location, which is irritating because they should have been at least there. Well, I'm glad that we're still in the same situation then, because thank God I've actually not lost a day's worth of movement, technically. Give or take. So there are forces over here. That's strange. See, even Katori has not moved. She should have been here. But... okay. Easy, intriguing revelation. Well, revelation there. But at least we do actually have the option now of bringing 326 and Katori, I always want to say Kashima, and Katori together into one larger force there. Yeah, I mean, there's a force over here. It's, I don't know, it seems to be a very small force. I don't know how large it is or how, and I don't know. It's interesting because we've been doing a lot of reconnaissance over there and we're not discovered much. You need to move your subs out from bases and use Glen subs for detection as close in as you are. Yeah, you are taking losses. Yeah, that's definitely what we're going to do. Due to detection level from the search, you are absolutely right. Potential of the storms. I don't know. I don't know if I'd actually inhibit that movement. I do find that one interesting. I wonder if it's actually due to the fact that they were due to meet a task force over here. We did set one of them to meet them. Or did we actually send them to meet them? Or did we... interesting. You're unloading. Okay, so that's a tanker. Right, you shouldn't be unloading. So the issue is we did do some moves and then we reloaded the turn, so maybe we might have missed something. Just land both units to the land, yeah. And we could probably deal with that. We do have forces nearby. I think they could probably handle that. We do have Kirigusa, Tatsuta, and 4 patrol boats, so we'd have another light cruiser here as well. So 2 light cruisers, heavy cruiser, 4 patrol boats, and obviously the forces aboard here. This is the Maizuru first and SLF. I think it's actually the full Maizuru first SLF as well. Oh no, we do technically have still elements of the Maizuru here. Maizuru? Well, Maizuzu. Bazuzu. Fast transport TFs move into range so that they can unload during the night. Oh, right. Well, that's really interesting. I didn't realize about that. That's good to know. See, this is it. Infinite Monkey there. Give me some important information. Okay. I mean, what do you think to that then, Infinite? I mean... I think of all the options for his possible movement, I think no movement at all was probably the one we didn't give much water to, really. It's interesting, and I think it's a good result for us. I do think it's actually the better result for us. So I'm happy about that. We do have an additional 2 H6K4s over here now, so that's great news. Really great news. So we'll set them to 100% search at night. Yeah. That's awesome. How about these guys? One will be ready in 2 days. Okay. Still have our assets over here. Yeah, they have one over 2 Pete's. We might even have additional H6K4s available now. Possibly. Maybe even additional bombers are ready. Let's take a look. 64 already. I think last time we would have been sending 60. Yeah, I mean, this is it. I mean, we did see the detection work there. I think it was due to the fact that, I don't know, it's interesting. It's very interesting. I mean, perhaps we use some H6K4s, but I think we'll stick to the plan. I think it's a solid plan. And the good news is we really don't have to do very much over here, so that's great news. Right, the AMC over here is moving towards truck as we speak. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at our logistics train, then. What do we have over here? So the tank is there. No fuel in here. It's going to obviously take a long time to unload all that fuel due to the size of the port. Right. You're unloading. Oh, good, you've arrived. So that's good news then. So additional elements 144th are arriving. 15th base force is still unloading here. Yeah, obviously we're trying to unload a lot of stuff here. So, great news. Engineers and aviation support are arriving. So is that 23 engineers on site now? No, it looks as if they're not ready yet. Yeah, that's due to them being a strategic mode, so we'll have them unpacked and made ready. Elements of the 61st Naval Guard over here. Okay. These guys still have some disruption and fatigue. It might be worthwhile just to have them rest here, actually. At least a day. Same for these guys. They're not doing anything. They don't need to be doing anything. These guys need to put on combat. But this is good. Right. See, the issue is here. There we go. Some messages for some reason get blocked by chat. I don't know why. That should be sorted out. Yep, so once they're actually unpacked and ready, we'll actually have those engineers. So in about 2 days, we'll have at least 23 engineers, which is good. We'll actually have that aviation support. Do we actually have that aviation support now? We do. Fantastic. Right, I'd head west or northeast in his shoes. Probably zig northeast away from Subs, then northwest towards Quadrillion. Yeah, more than likely. We'll begin expanding the airfield and port soon enough. Actually, once additional engineers arrive, then we'll be good to go on that front. Be really good. But we have actually been able to finally see that there are forces over here at Comac. So what we'll do is we'll combine these forces to hit Comac together as a unified force. Okay, so the oiler and 2 destroyers have arrived over here. Importantly, we aren't seeing any detection as far as we can tell. Good news. And the storms are having an effect, I can imagine. Yeah, censorship as well. Okay, 21st is undetected. 55 undetected. 342 undetected. I mean, yeah, we were actually coalescing these forces into one, so that's good. Additional transports over here. What I might actually do then is detach the USN. She's a 15 knotter. She could actually head out with probably one of these forces out here just to give them additional lifting capacity, really. And of course, the additional endurance. Attack his carriers with everything that can fly. Yep, that's going to be the plan. We do have our night operation planned. It's just going to... I think it's one of these where we need to see it happen. We saw it fail this turn, but that means that there is a good solid shot next turn. And then obviously if he moves to the north, then yeah, the chances do increase there. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Yep, additional supply and fuel here. So they're looking to merge. Mortars and artillery. Yeah, the good news is we are carrying on board here. Let's see. The 2nd Field Artillery Regiment, so that's 38 guns, so 36 75mm T90 field guns and 2 7.7 T99 AAMGs. So that's 36 guns, that's a decent load of guns. The 5th Mortar Battalion, so that is 39 guns there, 36 81mm mortars, and then 3 7.7 T99 AAMGs. Obviously these guys are basically worthless, but at the end of the day that's additional AA. But the good news is we are going to have additional artillery, which is really, really good. That's going to be the important thing here, is having the artillery in place. We are going to have to build up a large amount of supplies over here at Comac, and probably get some transportation aircraft down here to Espirito Santo, basically the base here at Luganville. I mean, if we could actually secure a base out here that had an airfield, that'd be amazing. Unfortunately, we do not have that. I'd love to take control of Norfolk Island, Lord Howe Island, Roll Island. Those are going to be ones to take in the future. Your morale and fatigue are fine. It's relative, but 25-30 is in both no big deal. Okay. Less dainty with troops. I've launched successful attacks with 50-50. That's good to know, actually. Okay, well, that's fine. I don't think we have the lifting capacity to move them this turn. No, I don't think I have that capacity, though I do have some... maybe. Let's take a look. Obviously, additional ships did arrive. It keys how they are relative to the enemy. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so let's take a look. If I was to go ahead and run a amphibious operation, what could I... Actually, no, that's not too bad. Okay, so... import. That's actually looking pretty reasonable. That's including Suguru. So that is 1680, 2120, well, 205. Let's see, how much do we actually need to carry the regiment? We need 3326. Okay. I do have an additional 2 over here, obviously, that are loading, and we're quite low on fuel. Well, one of them is, the other one isn't. So you're still loading. Okay. What I might do then is have them rest until we land at Comac, and then they can be readied once the transports return. At least then they'll actually have a day of rest, or 2 days of rest, which is not a bad thing, really. It means that they actually do get that additional rest that they'll not have at any other point. Now, our detection here is good. It seems as if he has 3,000 men. I don't know. That is like a rough estimate. Obviously, that could be wrong. But it's been steady about 3,000 for a while, so that's not bad. We haven't seen any additional ships nearby either for some time. Undetected and undetected. Okay. Intriguing. Now, I was hoping that we could have actually hit something down here. It looks... Right, that's a lot of APDs. That's a lot of APDs. Moving southwest. That is interesting. 3 destroyers here. PT boats. I'm going to assume others as well. So yeah, we'll stay out about this position here and try and catch them on the way out. We're undetected, so that's interesting. I wonder if he actually does not really have aircraft out here. He must surely have float planes, perhaps. Or they're just missing us. But, as so far as yet, we remain undetected. Submarines moving out. Yeah, that's good news. I mean, this is good. It's very good. At least it gives us a chance to actually move into positions that we want to be in. Right, okay, so we still see the submarine over here at Wake. Our destroyers, the destroyer 10 over 2 actual transports make it out there, along with elements of the Maizuru 2nd. So, Wake is effectively on its own now. We do obviously need more supplies over here, but we can always fly supplies in here, really. Okay. Solid. I do have 24 engineers here. No engineer vehicles, which is a shame. But at least with these engineers, we can begin to build the island up, perhaps. Building fortifications, that's good. I think Wake will become an important island. Due to its position, due to the fact that it is guarding the northern approach, well, the north end of the Marshalls. That's good. Okay. Submarine over here, 2 of them, technically. Right. Sanuki Maru. Actually did avoid some hassle over there. So Sanuki Maru is actually moving down here towards the Shortlands. Of course, no bloody reconnaissance of Rabaul, so I really don't know too much. I'd love to actually base some float planes down here so I can actually gather some information on Rabaul. Now, taking a look, obviously, then elsewhere. Good, right, the naval construction unit over here from over at Luzon is moving down to Babal Dwab. So that is going to mean a good few engineers. So let's see here. 1,000 troops. 9 and 1. 10, 3, 3, 2. Yeah, good news. That's good. Okay, so that's great. So that'll give us additional engineers, as obviously we're taking engineers away from the island here. Now, there's only 23,000 tons of supply here. I could actually do with sending a transport over here to bring some additional ones, especially as we are building up the port and the airfield and the fortifications. So that would be worthwhile to do. Building up the port is going to be good. Obviously, that does decrease the amount of... Well, it increases the amount of naval rearm points that we have, which is pretty vital. Also increase... I mean, once... Yeah. I mean, up to size 4 port. To a level 4 port, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. That means that submarines can actually go in there and raid. But after that, at 5 and above, they can't. So we need to get that to a size 5 to basically prevent enemy submarines being able to potentially raid in here. Also to give our ships additional safe harbour, really. You cannot hold any isolated islands against the enemy. Well, the thing is, it's all about denial. What I intend to do here really is leave very small garrisons to be pretty much just a speed bump. If they could hold potentially a day or 2, maybe 3 days, if we're actually lucky, then that is what we need. What we need to do is deny him. Deny him, deny him, deny him. If we deny him these bases, he will have to come for them. Technically, he doesn't have to. He might pursue another stratagem, but it is likely to force him to come to us, which is all we need. I want to engineer a situation where we control the island, we gain additional information about the enemy. Very much a defense in depth strategy that we are running here. We need to have something of a roadblock, just to hold while our mobile forces move in. So then Res, hey HDRG, if you have not heard of one, Jonathan Parcel, I recommend you check out 2 videos of his on YouTube, one on Midway and one on Kamikaze Tactics. Really interesting, could be of use in the game. Yeah, Res, if you're on my Discord, so Wonder Machine, Wondage Machine, I can't remember how you bloody pronounce it, basically from the machine in German. I might have to just like change the bloody name to English to be fair. I think that was a bit edgy. But yeah, yeah. If you could post the links in Discord, I'd be very happy about that. Or if somebody else could post the links there if Rez is not in, that'd be awesome. Right, any isolated island, yeah. You capture the enemy can either bypass or attack you in overwhelming force, unless you keep sinking his carriers. That sounded lewd. Ooh, the lewdenings. And this is it's very true, but what is true for us is also true for him. It's an interesting one. He can rely on carrier air power, but carrier air power won't take the island. It'll basically isolate and practically starve the island into submission, but it won't fall while the men are still there. They could bloody well hurt them. The carriers could obviously drop bombs every single day, but that still isn't going to capture the island. He is going to have to get boots ashore. And the thing is, when he's getting boots ashore, especially as we are sinking a fair number of his actual amphibious transportation assets, which is the main thing here in this area, it's going to make it harder. It's going to take longer. He's going to have less men to carry. He's not going to have a huge amount of men in the first few months over here that are ready for action. Now, what we're hoping for is, as well, that a lot of these actual men that are mobile, able to be moved unrestricted, basically, are deployed over here in the South Pacific, in Fiji, basically in positions where we can actually begin to take control of them. Well, take them out one by one, ideally. Is there a link to your Discord channel somewhere? Yep. What I'm going to do here, then, is actually save the turn, and then I'm going to reopen it in the windowed mode. Then I can show Battling Gamer, I think was it Battling Geezer, how to do so. There we go, turn 30 part 1. Ah, cheers, mate. I'll do so anyway, just because I can actually use a drawing tool then. Yes, but the thing is, you've got to imagine, the way to look at this is in 1943. This is 1942, very early 1942, and this is a different situation. It's very much not as it is historical. Obviously, things have happened. Obviously, the Haruna was lost, etc., etc. Those things are somewhat inconsequential in terms of the Pacific. He does not own Midway. He does not own Wake. Of course, Wake did fall, but Midway didn't. So, obviously, these islands in and of themselves don't make a huge difference to the war, but it is going to make a larger difference over time, as it will give us opportunities that we would have not otherwise have had. It's going to deny him opportunities that he otherwise would have had. So it's lots of little things that add up to really culminate in large change, really. And I know a lot of this is like, well, perspective bullshit, you know. Obviously we are like trying to theorize, we're trying to prophesize here, but yeah. Okay, so for the benefit there of Battling Geezer, I'm going to show him how to do it. So what you need to go ahead and do, so I'm just going to bring it up over here. One in the Pacific. Admirals Edition. So apologies to those of you who know, but at the end of the day, it was one of those things I had to figure out myself, so I do not mind showing everybody else. Okay, so what you want to do is you head over to this link on that I posted in the Discord, and this will take you to the CB utility over here. So what you want to do then is go ahead and download this. Now, how this works is, I believe the options I have set up, let's get this updated. It's going to make a ping noise, so bear that in mind. There we go. Okay, so these are the settings. So I don't think I actually selected any of these. I forget what my actual settings are, but deep color, and I think it's either direct draw you turn or for you turn on. I forget which one it is. I forget what my actual settings were, but everything is here. So obviously you go here, full screen, so full screen, daily autosave, weekly autosave, windowed, etc. Force resolution, yes. Then what you need to do is go over here to build shortcut, but click the manual browse. So obviously that will then take you to where your War in the Pacific is, and yeah, this is how you set things up. Now what I do is I create 2 separate shortcuts over here, so I can play it in windowed and play it in full screen. 1942, so strain every nerve to sink his carriers now. I mean, we are trying, we do have a shot at that. We're not going to go in there blunderingly so we'll just have to really take it as it comes, really. Actually, while I'm here, I'll actually load the save. Because that one. I'll double check that. What did I save it as? Ah, 003. 003. .003 and save. Okay, we'll go ahead and take a look at the tracker, see how it turns out. There we go, lovely jubbly. Cheers there, Brez, that's appreciated, my friend. Okay, we'll read the turn. Okay. Any island without strongish naval and air assets, even with a strong garrison, is pretty much pointless. Now, see, the thing is, we're not going to have a strong garrison. We're going to have a garrison, but the thing is, due to the nature of amphibious warfare, even a weak garrison, if not completely and utterly overwhelmed, can hold. Not for long, not for long. I mean, this is it. I'm talking in the region of days, and that's all I need. I just need days. Even if I can't respond to the island being captured, even if I can't recapture the island, even if I can't threaten the actual force that's capturing the island, as long as I have that information, as long as I have the knowledge there, the actual information is worth a lot. I can actually respond then. Albeit, it could be perhaps a slow response, it could be a fast response, it's a response in general. So this is it. The way we need to look at this is, it's denial, and also, I suppose, bloody, forward observation of the enemy. Okay, it looks as if he's aware of the 56 over here. Okay. Right. So insufficient fuel for heavy industry. We did see that one, I do believe. So we'll have to double check that one. So see, Taiping has been taken. Let's complain then about the supply situation, which obviously we do need to sort out. We do take their base there, Amberin, which is a island with no actual base on it, but it is now under our control. Nagada has been repaired. Issei has been repaired. Obviously, of the systems damage, I can imagine. Right. Arrow 68 repaired, supposedly. Montevideo and Maru. Yeah, she goes down. So this time we actually only lose 3 ships, which is good. So that still means that there are targets in Tarawa for him to take into consideration. Why did the US need Fiji, for example? See, this is the thing. It's like you're looking at this from a end point and looking back. You've got to look at it from the opposite way. See, the thing is, this is not the almighty United States Navy of 1944-45. I mean, obviously it's always been bloody almighty, because obviously it did win the goddamn war. But it's not grossly overpowering. It's a contender, it is formidable, but it isn't overpowering. Not yet. His forces, his amphibious forces aren't overpowering. He doesn't particularly have a huge amount. What is the US player who cares who runs New Caledonia? See, when it comes to New Caledonia, he cares who controls this, because this actually dictates control of the region. It dictates control of the Tasman Sea to a degree, and of course to the Coral Sea, and of course the South Pacific area in general. Of course, when I say control, I don't mean as if like I take this island, that means nothing can pass here, but it means I can actually interdict his supply lines. And that is the purpose of this move down here to the south. It is all about interdiction of the US supply lines. It's all about trying to put a big fat red line down here that says do not cross property of the Imperial Japan, of the Empire of Japan. Do not cross. No USN allowed. Okay. It's obviously always good. It's always good to actually, like, question, always good to actually criticize. It's always good to have that opinion. At the end of the day, if I don't validate the reasons for why I'm doing something, then, yeah, that doesn't mean it doesn't work. It's not a good idea. If I can't validate the reasons for doing it, or the rationale behind it, then, yeah, it's worthless. Okay, good, yeah. So all our forces have reached Chengchao. So in the next day to 2 to 3, possibly within the week, definitely within the week, we'll begin march on Chengchao. Well, on to Luoyang, I should say, sorry. Luoyang. But he does not need to hold Fiji or New Caledonia. His objective is Japan. His objective is Japan, but this is it. The US planners, of course, using War Plan Orange. I can't remember exactly which deviation of War Plan Orange, but they knew that the Pacific War, the slow offensive, would take a year to 2 years. That was the minimum sort of estimate. Obviously, it was a very accurate estimate, as it turned out. But he's not going to be moving on Japan for at least a year or 2 years, depending. So he's not going to be speeding across the Pacific, because if he does, he's going to lose. And he's going to lose big there, because that really puts him into a situation where it's not good. It doesn't play to any of his advantages. It plays to my advantages. It plays to the advantages of the Empire, not of the Republic. Okay, so minefield has gone over here at Singapore. Now that is interesting. I assume that means my own mines. Okay, he's arrived over here to Cotopaxi. Leader has arrived. Leadership, leader arrived, leader arrived. Okay, good. And with Iron Duke on this, in my opinion, you are extended too far, give him easy access to VP. Perhaps so, but this is it. He could make all of that mood by hit in Japan through the Kurils. He could, but why doesn't he do it now? You know what I mean? Like, what is the rationale behind why doesn't he? Most of the supplies of the Australians and New Zealand economies come from the Western Convoy route. Control the Fiji area cuts the route and so kills the economy. Well, the thing is, yeah, it's all about control. And the thing is, it's like, sure, he could bypass us entirely, but the thing is, why doesn't he do so? These are the questions that we have to consider. I think you need to be securing the Southern Resource Area. We are doing that. I mean, the thing is, it's like, we are thrusting with this operation. But it doesn't mean that this is to the denigration of Brunei, of, well, Sumatra, Java. These operations will come. They are going to happen. They are happening as we speak now. Of course, they're taking a little bit longer, and obviously they're not going to have the same amount of, resources available to them that they would have from, like, a combined Kidabutai. But I can accept that, and I think it's a worthwhile goal. If we do secure these positions and ultimately secure them and hold on to them. Certain islands, I mean, this is it. It's like when it comes to, like, New Caledonia in general, how many men do we want to actually garrison there? Enough to actually make it a feasible base to actually launch aircraft from, but in reality, not huge amounts. So obviously he is going to avoid the island like the plague. The thing is, we need to force him into a position where he can't ignore it, as really the threat it represents is great. Of course, it can supply Australia from the west, but the thing is, it's one of these. It's making him work for it. And of course, the western side of Australia is something that we could potentially begin to work on there. But as you mentioned, the victory points there, it does actually allow us to begin to move on to Australia ourselves and begin to take a look at victory points and denial of bases. But when he does speed across the Pacific, he will ignore places like New Caledonia. The thing is, it's like, yeah, he'll ignore these places. But he's got to strike somewhere. He has to secure a base 1. He might just bypass it, but that's very bold and very dangerous. I mean, this is it. I suppose as in real life, we did have the thrusters and we did have the cautionaries, the defensivists, within the United States naval planning. So this is it, I suppose. I don't know. I'd consider myself one of the thrusters then, and I suppose we do have Infinite Monkey as the arch defensivist. Obviously that's over the top. Obviously that's not accurate. But it'd be fun. A little bit of a jokey joke there. Okay. Let's go ahead and actually take a look at this. Been doing a lot of chatting here. I'm interested in the actual amount of armaments. That's what I want to see. So, armaments 4671. So this is turn 31 actually. That showed me turn 30. Am I on the current turn? Yeah, I should be. Okay. Interesting. The pace of your operation, some resource areas just feels too slow. Most of the players are knocking on Singapore gates. Well, the thing is, the fact is most players haven't taken losses like that. I mean, you've got to imagine my experience isn't as great as these players in there, in the actual examples you give. We have gone for very different things. We have different objectives in mind. The operations will proceed, and they will increase, and well, really in speed as well as we move on. I get that we have to move there, and we are moving there as quickly as possible. I mean, perhaps I'm being too cautious in some areas, and perhaps I'm being, well, not cautious enough in other areas. But things are progressing, and they will continue to progress. I think it is going to be a positive one. Of course, we're going to be landing at Mindanao tomorrow. And yeah, Mindanao should fall within 2 weeks, perhaps. From there, we'll begin to move into Borneo, so which is good. Okay, he'll go for 1 or 2 forward naval bases and somewhere that gives him heavy bomber range of Japan. But this is it. This is something that is not going to take place in 42. Of course, he might try to achieve a base in 42. Of course, he's going to try that, perhaps. But he's not going to be bombing Japan. That's going to be 43, 44, 45. But he's got to get to that. He's got to get there first. We're not going to make it easy for him. Okay, 1925. See, I did have a question actually in regards to the merchant yards over here, because how many points of the merchant yards do we actually have? 10,600. I wonder, are we able to potentially switch off the merchant shipyards? Will that actually stop production of the merchant ships completely? Or will that actually just stop the production of merchant points? So, Major, how you doing, my friends? Well, Major, it was a very interesting turn. I'm actually going to bloody load up a turn here in window just in case. We didn't see any carrier action. Well, not our carrier action. We didn't see a naval strike on the American carriers. But it's been a rather intriguing one. So I'm just going to load it back up again here, just on account of I'd like to show Major here. Right. Yes. Now the good news is it's not going to actually take us too long to actually finish this turn, which is great, because a lot of the actual major discussion is actually still valid in this turn, which is great news. Okay, that's awesome then. So we could actually save, well, we can actually use heavy industry elsewhere then. That's good to know. That's good to know. Okay, so, Major. The carriers remained in place. They actually remained in place, which is rather intriguing. When he has 20 carriers, he will run wild. The thing is, yeah, you take a look at this. Look at 1945. Look at the sheer size of the United States Navy. Look at the sheer amount of force that the United States had to employ there. Now, Japan still didn't surrender. Of course, it did take the peace cabinet, the peace lobby within Japan itself. Obviously, the atomic bombs did help, of course, the actual Soviet invasion of Manchuria. Of course, the realization of the fact that the Soviet government wasn't about to intercede on Japan's half and actually negotiate a peace with honor wasn't going to happen. So he's happy to weather your bombers, man. I mean, this is it. We actually didn't strike. We didn't see any flights out from our bombers. I turned off most merchant ship construction. That's great. Doing nothing was the right move. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, this is it. Of all the moves, we didn't expect him to actually sit here, but it was a move discussed. I mean, this is it. I suppose this, in reality, is the second best option. In my opinion, the best option would have been to get the hell out of here, but obviously I'm a little bit biased towards having things survive. Not interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the merchant ship production then for the time being, man. That works out for me. That indeed works out for me. Okay. HI. There we go. We do have a fair amount of merchant ship points in there, so that's great news. That's going to save us quite a bit, ideally. Over time, anyhow. Over time. They'll go boom. Very good. I do need to check on the industry. Of course, we did see the base over here at Anshan not produced due to the fact that it doesn't actually have fuel here. I have requested fuel. We don't have... I mean, actually, that's not too bad. I mean, that's 100 heavy industry. I'd like to obviously get that back. Obviously, that would represent the fact that we did see the shortfall of production this turn, but it's not one of the major ports. Well, not one of the major bases that needs the fuel. The fuel also needs to be on Honshu. Okay, truly the only way to avoid that eventuality is secure Hawaii, Australia, and India, and hurry up with the invasion of the east coast of the United States before it gets too late. Yeah, I know, right? What he's doing is reset his combat patrol to be fully defensive. He's expecting you all. Well, interestingly enough, we did see here. So I'm going to show you the combat reports so you're aware. So, combat reports. Now, we actually did see, now this is actually the intriguing one. We have seen Hermes. Hermes is over here, and I'm going to surmise she's operating with a, with the battlecruiser Repulse, or I doubt it's going to be Prince of Wales, but more than likely, I'm going to say 90% likely that it is Repulse. A number of cruisers over there, probably some Dutch and British perhaps, probably mostly Dutch. And indeed, they did make an attempt over here at Mogami and Makuma. So it looks as though he did actually expect us to move into the Makassar Strait with our carriers, which we did not, though the submarines did attempt to block our path over here. As per usual, passive aggression. That's something I'm gonna hide, my friend. Okay, his location is well considered. He can hit a target in any IG, Imperial Japanese counter-strike. He's flying with limited escorts. That's true. Right, so going back over here then. So, combat reports. Did hit Pickerel quite nicely. Yeah, we did launch a nice strike at Balikpapan, which is good. THD and new houses, bread and butter, provocation, traps, yeah, pretty much. They fucking love, they absolutely love to wind me up. I know they do. I know they're playing the psychological game. Issue is I've got, it's like 1 against 2. Okay, so we did see additional strikes there at Tarawa. Though ultimately, it did see 2 ships sunk over here. They weren't incredibly effective. But this is good. Obviously, it does build up the amount of fatigue. Obviously, it's not going to be a huge amount of fatigue. They've only flown 2 free flights, not a huge amount. Of course, they'll rest, but it's something. At the end of the day, it does see $2 as damage there, which is not a huge asset. Another attack over here at Tarawa, and that is 1 additional bomb hit. Granted, it's a 1,000-pound bomb hit, but still just on fire. Of course, we do see additional aircraft over here. So he is, as far as we can tell, running with the same numbers. Yep, Swordfish. S39 there. No, 2 Swordfish. Oh, so that was Swordfish. There we go. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the carriers, for some reason I've yet to determine, they didn't particularly move, even though they're given order, perhaps. I think it must have been from me given something the order to follow them. I'm sure I did that. I can't remember if I did or not. But either way, we'll make sure they move this turn. But that's fine. You can lose merchantmen all day, well worth it for knowing where the USN carriers are, yeah. I mean, it's a shame that we lost the light cruiser Tenru and 2 destroyers, but it has revealed its position. And importantly as well, the actual patrol boats out here are all operational. The ships did get out of here and survive. No, the only way to avoid such traps is to overreact and wipe them out. Oh dear. I'd have agitated for a raid to the Kurils if I'd have been advised in THG. Yeah, I mean, this is it. This is it. It's like, obviously, over here, he could cause a lot of damage on the Kuril Islands. Of course, we do have some H6K4, so we do have some prior warning. Some at the base over here at Bahoro. We do have some over here at Aminato. We will look at additional reconnaissance in this area, and we will be looking at a Lucian Island campaign in the short to mid-term. Probably, yeah, shortish mid-term. Okay. I halt all ships I do not want to produce, which is most of the merchant ships. I tend to keep the standard A's and the standard B's and AO, well, obviously the oilers and tankers. Hold the BB's Yamato and Musashi, then use the tracker to prune, well, that's wise. Okay. And that's good to know. I mean, we are going to be saving some additional production then in the turns to come. Now, what I want to check on here then is the R&D. Of course, we are looking towards actually sending additional supply into these other bases. Now, let's see. So, right, it's like a Kyoto, so they need to have that supply increase again. And this is it. They did have a huge amount of supply that did move out very quickly. So we're trying to build that back up again. It's a balancing act over here, so big balancing act. Well, balancing act. That we're really trying to make work. Okay. I should see the engineers moving out in the following turns, actually, which would be quite good. I forget, is this game against another player? Yes, it is indeed against the historical gamer on YouTube. What I'm going to do is actually bring up a link to his channel. Definitely worth checking out, as obviously you can see his point of view and his thoughts and planning and his actions on his own channel. So I'm going to actually bring up a link over here. Super great guy, an American. So if you like Americans, then you'll like him, I guess. Wow. There we go. Should drop that over here in the chat. There you go. So that is his channel. Definitely worth checking him out there. Okay. BB's a relevant late game. I think they always have uses. I think this is it. They always have uses. The extra 50 or so fighters in the USN CVs to prevent chemical attacks outright is better than a armoured flight deck and 50 less. Yeah, true. What about the other Grigsby? Grigsby's one of the Pacific Grand campaign. I have missed that. I did have that one, which was played against the AI, but I think it's one of these things. It was very hard to go back to it due to the fact that, well, I just learnt a lot. I mean, the thing is, I've learnt a lot even since starting this campaign from where I felt in regards to the single-player campaign. In the future, I would like to do possibly another play-by-email campaign, possibly a single-player campaign, but I would like to do it a modded game. Now, obviously, it'd be nice to find a opponent to play a modded game against. Of course, it's a massive time commitment, though. Massive time commitment. Remember to move the I-121 to I-124 to Luganville for submarine mine lane warfare. Yeah, very true. Right. Yama, Musi are worth it as bomb stocks. Yeah, I mean, they are good in that capacity. They'll eat dozens of bombs on top of the series will eat otherwise due to how our air target routine works. Yeah, I mean, this is it. I'm going to be building the Yamato and Musashi. Might not be the best idea. Obviously, they were massive uses of resources, but at the end of the day, it's a super fucking heavy battleship. It's just, I'm a sucker for the big boys. Apparently, I'm a sucker for that big old deck. Give me that deck. God, that was cringy. Okay, let's take a look at the state of our troops then over here at Clark. Ooh, awesome. So additional forces have arrived over here at Clark. Very good. Now, his forces, I can't tell. I can't see if they're retreating or not. It looks as if they're not. Well, that's bad intel over at Bataan. Okay. See his troops over here. It's a shame that we didn't arrive over here at Iba. Obviously, it's going to be potentially tomorrow or the day after. Okay, this is good though. I'm really waiting for the actual headquarters to make its arse... get its arse down here. The good news, they're going to be arriving at San Fernando next term. Well, not next term, maybe... two free turns, and then they'll arrive at San Fernando. Then I can actually begin to move them via rail. We'll move them to Lingayen. Then obviously Clark as well once we have it. The good news is obviously having those headquarters on station is going to help to actually increase the effectiveness of our forces, which is really good. But yeah, let's take a look at what we actually have here on station. So of course we still have the 33rd, 16th, 4th Division. They're now joined by elements of the 81st Naval Guard, as well as additional, well yeah, the mortars and the reconnaissance regiment. Not a massive force, but at least it's some additional vehicles. It's going to be nice, it's going to make a difference. Granted it's actually motorized cavalry in HMGs, but still it's going to make a difference. Let's take a look at the actual divisions. 1026. 625, 621. Okay, those numbers are probably feasible. The good news is we do have additional support now. Some extra guns, which is handy. Additional, yeah, not much, but at least it does make a difference. Additional reinforcements are on the way. The 6th will arrive tomorrow, that's good. I suppose the Dutch Navy didn't have a goddamn choice, didn't they? They didn't have that much of a choice. Okay, so operations will begin on Mindanao tomorrow. Now I want to check out China. There we go, the 104th is closing in on Kukong, so it's just a matter of a few days now until we arrive here at Kukong. Of course, the supporting forces are going to take some time to catch up, but that's fine, we'll have a bit of rest there. We did see the battle over here, not won, but it is going our way. Now, we do have, I mean, the 39th is actually in a fucking great shape. 22nd is hurt, obviously they did take a lot of losses before, but yeah. Not too bad. I'm going to say another deliberate attack over here. They have no more fortifications, so ideally we can begin to really inflict some big damage on them. I could, if I wish to do so, actually fly out the Ki-21s over here to actually aid the forces over here. We did see our Ki-48s. 2 of them were damaged over here due to the AA and of course the actual defensive P-35As. From Bataan, I'm going to take it. Interesting. Okay. The 34th is still moving here. Taking a long-ass time, but they'll eventually make it to safety. 6th Division is looking pretty chill. 20th Independent Mixed Brigade look pretty chill too. Issue is, he does have a lot of forces here, and should he obviously move on this position here, it could be catastrophic. So I'd like to actually move additional reinforcements there in the future, just to block off Yichang. To a degree. Obviously we'd like to move back in over here, but it's gonna be one of those. We'll see how it goes. Okay, not quite the way I expected them to move, but yeah, okay. But again, there's 165,000 troops there, so probably not the best way. I would have preferred them to have moved over there, but okay. I'm going to tell them to move back there. They need to be on a road. Okay, good. The other divisions have arrived. So, I mean, there's a lot of forces to the north. We do have the ability to throw about 4 divisions at that, but that's not probably enough. It could do it over time, but it would be in a difficult situation. We're going to just throw a big old fucking sledgehammer at it. And we'll be marching on Loyang soon. How's progress moving down to Singapore? Well, Taiping did fall last turn, so what we are going to be doing here then is really just trying to move our forces as quickly as possible. I'm tempted to actually begin to move forces via naval transport to Kuantan, and then from well, just basically, yeah, this needs to be done. We need to secure these bases. I'm going to say move a force over here to Kuantan, maybe just a Royal Thai army, maybe just, I don't know, depends really what we have here in Kutupuru. I do have elements of the 16th, I actually do have a 16th Naval Guard. The 16th Naval Guard would do brilliant about that. Any bombers going on against the Chinese. From the most part, for quite a while actually, we've practically and yeah, pretty much completely just shut down bombing raids over here. It's mostly just reconnaissance due to the fact that we did see the flying tigers. Now, I'd imagine that elsewhere this time. He does still have some fighters over here at Changsha. But yeah, these bombers over here just training, to be honest. And I'm not going to say that's a bad thing, to be honest. At least we do have additional training going on, which is worthwhile. Major's clearly a closeted Admiral King apologist. It's hard to argue. Not with regards to Admiral King, but when it comes to the British force in the Pacific, yeah, the British Empire did have a lot of obligations in Europe and elsewhere. So it wasn't exactly able to send a Grand Armada. Okay. Spotted this submarine over here. I don't know, I'm half... It's an interesting one, because I think as far as it goes for our resource situation, it is... the submarines are having an impact. Let's go ahead and take a look at the amount of resources we have in Japan. So, Japan... Okay. Yeah, so the amount of resources is going down here, obviously due to the fact that we aren't having them arrive in the same volumes that they were in turns before. The amount of supply is increasing just ever so bloody slightly, but it is increasing, so I'll take it. Okay. Fuel, oil continues to go down, of course. We do need to get those moving into Japan. Alright. Yeah, of course. I mean, this is it. Major is absolutely right in that. It's like, for the most part, the Pacific War was an American war. It's very much the Blue and Orange War that was planned for. I mean, this is it. It's nice to have the Allies, but I mean, the British in Burma, the British march into Burma to retake Burma, that didn't do anything to defeat Japan. It did jack shit to defeat Japan. I keep wanting to say Japan. God damn it. Oh dear. Okay. Maybe if you could get 100 to 200 fighters in China, that could work as escort. I mean, it's a lot of fucking fighters. I could maybe do that with Ki-27s, but I don't know about that. Okay. Right. So what I want to check out here then is... Let's go ahead and take a look at that air production then. Right, okay. So, building. Let's see. How are the numbers looking here? So now to 79k, 43 1Cs per month. Fantastic. 69 aces, some 2 zeros. I need this. I need to stop producing. Well, I need to stop repairing additional facilities. Once we reach 100 aces, some 2 zero production, I think the goal for KI-43 is 150, something along those lines. Actually, I'd amend what I said above. I actually say the USSR did more for Japan's defeat than the UK. Yeah, the USSR definitely did more. And this is it. It's like, I suppose in some ways the British... I mean, it's not as if they had a choice. I mean, the Japanese did attack the British, didn't they? And gave them bases. So late. How did the attack on the carriers go? We actually didn't see the attack take place, which is a shame, but there's more to it than just that. Just going to bring it up over here for the sake of Toby Carter. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Right, okay, so we can see over here, not over here actually, over here. Yep, the carriers actually remained in place, though our patrol boats are all alive and are actually in position to bear down on them from the south here. Well, sorry, from the north. I mean, I could even potentially have them make their way to the marshes to potentially survive. I don't know, it might be worthwhile to try and cause some collisions in here. To be honest, they're not going to have much of a shelf life. the transports did make it out of here, so we did see additional 2 ships sunk over here, but we actually still have a good number of ships in here. Ultimately, and most importantly, no fires. Hello there, Marauder PL. So for those of you unaware, Marauder PL, he is an awesome Polish dude. I believe he is Polish. I mean, PL is Polish, right? He does amazing 1v's content. Definitely worth checking this guy out. He's awesome. He's also good with kids. He likes long walks on the beach. And he probably has a big dog. Maybe, I don't know. Probably. It's like a good 50-50 that he's got a dog, so... What you got to lose? I mean, the walks on the beaches. They're great, right? I mean, this is it. Let's be fair, the British Empire was a minor nation of war. Ooh, in the Pacific War, maybe. Something on how you do, my friend. Okay, but yeah, as we can see here, the Montevideo Maru Buenos Aires Maru. They survived. I mean, I'd love them to survive. I think this is it. He's probably going to perform maybe another raid over here. But he's obviously going to bring himself and head... I mean, this is showing them heading east, but it's unknown. It's unknown. They still remain in position here. Is he single? I actually don't know if he's single. I'd love to have a big dog. Oh dear. Rightio. But importantly, our naval bombers remain in position. We actually do have additional. We have additional H6K4s now available. We also do have the benefit of having 2 H6K4s now available for action over here. Now let's take a look at the Yokohama. Obviously, that's going to be another 2 days before they're ready. But 2 aircraft, the thoe KUT-1 detachment is ready for action. We'll have actually another 2 tomorrow. Fantastic. Another 2 after that, and then another 1 after that. Awesome. Actually, this unit could be put back into action pretty sharpish. And the good news is they're going to be obviously running our night naval search operations over here, which is great. I mean, obviously this means that we have additional reconnaissance out this way, and ideally it will increase our viability of actually pulling off a raid here. Okay. Let's go back to the tracker. And we do actually produce a fair amount of these H6K4s and G3M2s. Of course, we do have a production bottleneck when it comes to the G4M1s and the K21-2A Sallies over here. Oh, Marauder's married. Oh, God, there goes my chance. It's not the only thing big enough to fit him in. Oh, dear. I'm actually listening to Nemesis at the moment, actually. That's pretty good. I've got hell to pay. I'm going to actually go ahead and really try to build up a collection. It's just having the goddamn time to read it, really. Okay, how are we going with the actual engine production? I need to check on how many of these I actually need. I think I want something... what number was I looking for again? Let's go back and check one of these documents. Right, 350, okay, so we're not too far away, we're at 238 at the moment. And the good news is, well, this is it, obviously we are expanding our industries, our aircraft manufacturing capabilities within Honshu. So once we have finally finished with that for the time being, we'll obviously have a lot more supply floating about there to actually get us up to the 20k that we need. Okay. Ian Toll's book. 1 second, let me Google it. I might have heard it, actually. I'm really bad when it comes to like authors' names. Is it the... Yeah, he's actually done a few, actually. Conquering Tide. Is this the one that would be most relevant? I know he's done a few. I've heard of Conquering Tide. That's a good book. I need to get around to actually getting that, to be honest. See, this is part of the reason why backing me on Patreon is so good. It means I can actually buy these books, which is super awesome. Honestly, appreciate all the support I get from you guys. I'm actually just starting Nemesis. I'd listened to the Decline and Fall of the Japanese Empire. I actually finished it for the second time. I'm reading at the moment Warplan Orange, and from Warplan Orange, either moving on to naval policy between the wars, or either Kaigen, Sunburst. I don't know. I've got another book about the Japanese and China in general, from 31 to 30. No, sorry, from 31 to 41, I think it is. But obviously Hell to Pay from Gian Greco. But I could do with ordering Nemesis, actually. I'd like to read them physically, too. Okay. Right, there we go, bases. So, thank you for showing me this as well. This was fantastic. Mabashi. Actually, supply went down in Mabashi, so we weren't at the heady height of 10,741, down to 675.58. Well, 675.8. Nagoya. We're actually up to 8.9. Okayama. 9985. Yokoyama Yokosuka. 6491, so actually down there by about, well, give or take, to 2,500 to 3,000 tons. Fuck Georgetown. I mean, of course, some of these are Chinese bases. Obviously, I do need to get supply bar. Pacific Crucible first, then Conquering Tide. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, I've heard a lot about Shattered Sword. It's a must read not only for Midway, but to understand how a lot of past history about Japan and World War II is actually wrong. Yeah. Right, Gifu. Actually, up to 9187. I mean, Gifu is a real important one as well. Yeah. So the good news is we need Gifu, we need Mabashi to really get up there. We do have a couple bases. Well, all of these bases need to be up to 20k. Of course, I wanted the R&D and the aircraft manufacturing capabilities, but I'd say especially Gifu and Mabashi. Mabashi has a lot of the A-System 2 production. That's awesome there, Nigeria. No, I like Hastings. You are right, like, he's good. Like, I don't know. He gives a very good, like, narrative history. He's very good at that. Well, it's not going to be long now. Not going to be long. Right. Yeah, I can imagine. Okay. I mean, I really, as far as it goes for like narrative sort of history, I did really enjoy like War Without Garlands by Ian Kershaw. That was a good one. That was a good one. Obviously, it didn't go into the nitty gritty of the Wehrmacht's horrific crimes, of course. Yeah, I mean, this is it. This is it. It's like Hastings is very good at that narrative. But at the end of the day, that's great. That's good. It gives you the information. It's just, I think with Hastings, it's like he'll go from 1 minute of giving you the comments of a actual, let's say, Japanese commander or US commander, and then the next minute he's going about another commander on, let's say, like Saipan, and it's like it's nice. It's good. It's very good. Don't get me wrong. It's just I don't know. It's hard to say. I like his approach, and of course there are other historians out there with different approaches. So it's one of these things, isn't it? It's hard to say is it good or bad because at the end of the day it's another approach, and there's variety out there. And check out the website Armoured Carriers in the British Pacific Fleet. That'd be good to check out. Man, I'm getting so distracted. I'm so sorry. Okay, I want to check out the logistical operations in the Pacific. To be honest, this turn isn't going to take us too long. I really don't think it's going to take us too long because a lot of the actual operations in effect are actually going to remain. The good news is we actually do have our submarines moving towards truck. They're going to continue to do so. Let's check out truck over here then. See what we've got. Right, so the unloading has almost been completed over here, so these tankers could be actually disbanded. Saigon Maru has finished loading up elements of the 7th Naval Construction Unit. Obviously, there's still remaining ones, but that's good. Fantastic. Akashi has made it over here. We actually do have the Yasukuni Maru. That name actually rings a bell. So they've arrived. Great. Additional patrol boats here as well, which is going to come in handy. What we're going to do here is actually form them into a ASW force. That's 133. Yeah, Hasten cares about the big picture and human experience more than tactical. Yeah, you're right there, Toby. That's a good way of actually putting it, actually. I'd say it's quite good. And there we go. And I can't blame him. I can imagine it's one of these things of once you start getting into the controversial stuff, it's controversial, isn't it? Simply said. There we go. I'm really happy that they made it out. See, that would have been a big loss had she been sunk by the American carriers. But no, she is now at truck and safe, which is good, at least for the time being. But she'll actually aid us once Kiributai arrives. Yasukuni Maru, she's going to be very handy. That name really rings a bell. I don't know why Yasukuni Maru rings a bell with me so much. Definitely something. Okay, disband them. Right, the 8th Tanker Regiment. So we are fully loaded here on the 8th Tanker Regiment. Fantastic. So the good news is now we are going to begin to transport the 8th Tanker Regiment to the south, actually, which is going to be good. Very good, because we obviously have the additional artillery moving down there, the additional men. We're also going to have the additional armor now. The actual armor, which is going to make a big difference. Right. Good, so they'll be able to be underway shortly. What sort of speed am I looking at here? So max, yeah, this is a slow force. In reality, I can actually bring the patrol boats here from 275, obviously the 133 patrol boats. Oh, wow. Is that, oh, okay. That's pretty low endurance. Okay, so I'll probably be looking at something more endurance. Yeah, these boys would be more like it, the 117. Yeah, that might be it. Yashikuni Shrine, that's gonna be it. That would make sense, actually. That's probably what I was thinking of. Okay. So I'm going to take Task Force 117, have it merge into 207. Oh no, room in the docks. Right, 117. I'm also going to throw in the AMC Saigon Maru in there. Now, I do actually have additional destroyers here, Yukikaze, Hatakaze. But I'm going to keep them over here for the time being. I'd like to have them available for escort duty of other task forces. Right. Okay. So this is good. So we'll actually have the engineers. We'll actually have the armor. The armor's going to make a nice difference. Right. And we have good intelligence over here at Numai, which is great news. So we're going to begin to send them down to Luganville. They can go and join the Luganville boys. Now, it's a fair trip. I mean, to be honest, it's not that fast. 42 hexes. So still fair distance there, but at least we do have a fair bit of control along the way. Obviously not so much in the way of control here, but obviously once we do move patrol boats, well, flying boats into these areas, then, yeah, well, I actually have line of sight. There's a small temptation. I'm not going to lie, there's a small temptation for me to actually take these submarines just near Nauru Island there. And actually divert them towards Tarawa. But the thing is, they don't have a huge amount of fuel, do they? No, it's worthwhile to get them fueled up. Okay. And I'm glad that they have survived. Very glad. Yeah, I mean, let's take a look at endurance. 1600. I mean, they could probably have fuel enough to do it. 200, well, 2000, obviously. 2390. Issue is I don't have a huge amount of fuel in the marshlands, otherwise I would actually consider it. I'll put it as a maybe. I do have a crippled submarine over here. It's a shame as well, because she would have been within range. I don't know. Maybe. Is she detected? That's a question. She's not detected. She doesn't have much in the way of ammunition. I'd say it's not worth it to throw her away. I mean, it's possible. Oh god, my mouse is being weird again. Ah, come on, mouse. There we go. There we go. She's back in action. See, this is it. I do have the float planes over here at Funafuti. It might be worthwhile to actually have them transported over here to Luganville, but I really do like this position. I think this is a very important position. Come on, Duke. Don't be salty. It's just a discussion, my man. Everybody has an opinion, and a right to express said opinion. So, PT boats charge. Yeah, we are going to go for that. That is going to be the plan here. The thing is, I'm running at full speed here. I don't know, do I run at full speed? I suppose it's a question of, are they going to survive? And at the end of the day, it's like, to be honest, it's worthwhile to actually just really... I mean, if we could actually cause some collisions here, there's a bloody good chance that we might panic the American forces to a degree and just... Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's like the charge of a light brigade. It could be crazily effective. Maybe. I don't know. Stranger things have happened in war, my friends. We'll call this the charge of a light brigade, because this is going to be amusing. Either way, it's putting pressure on him. Of course, he'll destroy these ships, but at the end of the day, I mean, I'm amazed that they've actually survived. I did actually anticipate them being hit. But it's actually intriguing. He could actually force his planes to be out for longer and more often. We'll see. I mean, probably the best idea is to really cover our options here. We'll discuss that one. Okay. Well, I suppose the worst of it has been at Tarawa, and really only at Tarawa. I mean, this is it. I'd imagine the Americans are probably going to back off towards Hawaii, but the thing is, he might be just like, okay, bring it on. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I don't know if it's as simplistic as that there, pirate. Okay, let's begin to load up these troops then. Of course, the thing is it worthwhile to load these troops at Baker? I'm going to say yes due to the fact that they are, in fact, starving. I can have these troops at Baker sent over here to Funafuti. At least that would actually help secure that. Maybe. I'm not saying that the Dutch didn't do more. I'm just saying it's one of these things of where we can't just say, okay, they did more than X. Of course, it's like in terms of operations, they did. But of course, it's one of these things. It's like we can't just be so black and white. I wonder if the fact he avoided an attack this turn will tempt him to turn north. Possibly so. Bread for the troops of Baker Island. Yeah, bread and circuses. Definitely. Bread and circuses. I'd say it's worthwhile to actually take these troops out. At least at the end, I don't know. At the end of the day, it might even be worthwhile to begin just to have them move on towards maybe like Canton Island. I mean, Canton Island's pretty fucked. But then again, is it worth it to even take these troops? Or maybe. But then again, considering that I don't know actually. I think it might be worthwhile. At the end of the day, he can't just walk in and take it back. I might have the actual... yeah, I might have those transports in the patrol boat actually move down to Funafuti, perhaps. We'll see. I think I need to decide on that one. Yeah, I mean, this is it, but at the end of the day, it's like we have additional chances here, and the turnaround shouldn't be anywhere near as long, and in reality, I don't think there's a huge amount here. Yeah, I'd agree with that in regards to what Major said there. Right, our tanker regiments, how are they doing? How are we doing here in terms of unloading? At least it's actually unloading. Yep, good. They're unloaded in good order. Shouldn't be too long until they're actually fully unloaded and ready for action. These goddamn searchlights. There we go, the motorized support. Right. Okay, so we can see the 7th and the 2nd Tanker Regiment making their way down now. That's good. They're making good speed. Obviously, we have elements of the 33rd Division making their way down there. Obviously, we need these elements with the 33rd. We did move the 33rd just to actually... I mean, to be honest, it didn't work out, because they actually were in a position to actually aid in the attack at Clark, and which is good. Very good. We might go... I don't know. What do you guys reckon? Do we go with the deliberate attack over here at Clark? I think we could probably get away with it. There's something to be said for waiting for additional reinforcements to arrive. We did reduce the fortifications from, I think, was it 2 to 1? So we could probably do better. Possible. I mean, deliberate attacks I'm going to see as broken. And it's all about reducing his fortifications, to be honest. Okay, let's take a look at the state of our forces over here at Changchao. I mean, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 second... 6 second? Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 divisions. And the 12th Army Command here. Fantastic. Then unpacking here. Good news. There's a lot of artillery. So now up to 1,700 vehicles, 70,382 infantrymen, 90,000 second line troops, and 1,400 not too far away from 1,500 guns. Hello there, Carl. Are we planning on pushing up to hit the Hermes? We are not. We're actually going to be going ahead with that using submarines. How goes the war in China? Yeah, you're right, Bear. It's going well, actually. It's going fairly well. See you later there, Connor. Have a good one. Yeah, hashtag grab the oil. Grab them by the refineries. Okay. What is the general state of our forces here? Oh, yeah, that's good. So, disruption doesn't actually appear to be anything of an issue, as far as I can tell. Some units are still unpacking. It might be worthwhile to perhaps wait a day for these units to unpack so we can all begin to march as one. But then again, there's a lot to be said for just getting the arses in gear. I mean, it's only the 36 and some additional elements here. Of course, the 12th Army, but the 12th Army is within that one hex, so that's good. Okay. Let's choose our lead division. The 14th. Very good. And we shall begin the march to Luoyang. It's not going to be a long march. Set all to follow. Set all to this operations mode. And we march. Set all. Yep, they already have the targets. Okay. 2 days. Actually, bugger it. Let it go ahead. The regiment... Sorry, this mixed brigade is going to stay here. Hold the fort. The engineers as well, for the most part. Is it actually worthwhile bringing the engineers along? It could be, actually. So, do engineers actually play a role in reducing fortifications? Do they actually aid in that? Airstriking the Hermes is safer than using subs. The thing is, though, we are moving into an area where we have already detected 4 enemy submarines. We're moving into a strait. That does not give us a lot of room for maneuver. We're moving into an area when he has information on us. It's just not particularly wise. We have submarines already on station, and yeah. I mean, this is it. It's like maybe it's a little bit too cautionary. It could be pulled off. I don't know. I feel we need to decide on that one. As far as I'm concerned, for the time being, I think it's a little bit too audacious. I think it's like... Of course, they'll come back to hit us again unless we do take it out. It'd be a nice little victory, but at the end of the day, it's a little victory. Of course, it'd be nice to take out that force in general. Our combat engineers are key in breaking down the force. Okay, fantastic. They march. I thought they'd have some sort of effect. I just wanted to confirm that. Okay, there goes the guns as well. Now, do I send the army with them, or is the army okay to stay here? But that unit is part of the 20th Division. You should try to combat it ASAP. You have the range, just back away a bit and sink them. Well, the issue is there's 4 submarines there, and we are aware that he's intent on taking them out. So we do have to bear that in mind. We'll weigh our options up. I mean, the first viewing is really where we make a lot of our preliminary observations, make a few moves, and then begin moving. Right, okay, so this unit is over here at Anyang. These are at Qingchao, 8843. So they're still marching. Alright, actually, yes, we can actually form up the 20th Division. Fantastic. Okay. Oh, Reggie's spicy meatball. See you later there, Major. Yeah, we're not going to be too far away from the end of the turn here. But ultimately, this has actually been a very good turn for us. Been rather painless. We've actually inflicted pain upon him, which is good. Yeah, so as far as it goes then, for the war in China, let's go ahead and bring up the handy-dandy drawing tool. Really wish they'd bloody sponsor me. I emailed them for like a free update, and yeah, they never fucking got back to me. Okay. Right, okay, so over here at Wenchao, or how the hell you say it, we have... That's a terrible free. We have 3 divisions. Now, they are going up against a fair amount of Chinese forces over here. So we have fought a battle over 2 days so far. We did see the division here of the 22nd actually hided quite badly due to the fact that the additional reinforcements did arrive, and there's actually a pretty strong unit over here. But we did take their fortifications from level 2 down to level 1. Actually, I think we took them down to 0 now as well. Yep, so these are down at 0. So, the good news is we do have 3 divisions, albeit with some fatigue and disruption. But they should be able to grind the enemy into the dust now. And with the fall of Wenchao in the south, we'll have actually succeeded in controlling a good majority of the south here. We are moving on Kukong. Kukong is going to be within sight within the next 2 to 3 days, give or take. Afterwards, we will begin to move out onto the space over here. I forget the name of the space. It might be Kenshian. And with that, we'll actually have control of the south here. There might be Chinese units in the hinterland, but we can begin to use reconnaissance, potentially try and identify them. We know there's Chinese units over here, but they're not being particularly useful at the moment. They're just actually protecting this road over here more than anything. As obviously this is an important road. I mean, this is really what we want to cut here. But then moving on, we do have, I think it's the 6th Division there, and might be the 20th Independent Mixed Brigade. We do have the 34th Division over here. The 34th Division did fight a courageous halt in action at Ichang, but they were ultimately overwhelmed due to the sheer amount of Chinese forces that did arrive. There's currently around about 150,000 to 200,000 Chinese units over here at Ichang. Though, of course, it could be more, it could be less at this point. A small force over here that was used to actually take Xinjiang. He didn't actually take out the engineers over here, thankfully. We have taken back Xinjiang, which is fantastic. We are considering moving north towards Nanyang, actually. It might be worthwhile to do so with the 4 divisions and potentially even an additional unit if we can muster it for action. To put pressure on the city, and most importantly, pressure on this road network, which is also going to be key in supplying units over this way. Of course, it does still have this road here, but once Luoyang falls, which it will do due to the sheer amount of force that's moving down on here, and of course there's 200,000 Chinese, possibly even more than that over here. So it comes down to the question of, is it going to be a bloody fight? I'm going to say probably very bloody, but I think at the end of the day we are going to have an overwhelming amount of might that should ideally eradicate him there. So the Chinese campaign really... Of course, we actually do have this force moving down here to Pakoi, sorry, which is good. So once we do secure Pakoi, that is the last Chinese port actually in our hands there. What we're trying to do here then is we are moving the 38th Division as well, the actual 38th being the ones that did participate in the fall of Hong Kong primarily. Their job is going to be moving towards the base over here, or the base over here at Kuai Lin. Probably this base over here, as then once this base falls we can put pressure on the base at Nanning and actually open up a roadway from Indochina into China itself. The goal here is all about the rail lines. So now with the capture of Xinjiang and Chengchao, control this rail line over here, we actually have the rail line running all the way down here to Shanghai, which is brilliant. So it runs all the way off into Manchuria as well. This is what we need to control. Now, what we're trying to do here then is we are going to be taking over the base at Kukong, which will actually give us control of the rail line up to this base over here. So what I need to do then is actually make a push at this base to control it, which is Changsha. And then once we do control this base, and obviously additionally this base, we'd then be able to move up and down. It's a bloody shame that the rail networks don't link. If they link like this, that'd be fucking awesome. Unfortunately, they don't. Hello there, John. I'm late. I'll leave and wait for this video to finish to watch how the turn turned out. Probably a good move there. Oh, dear. Rightio. So as far as it's going going well enough. I mean, really, what we are trying to do here, then, is just consolidate control over our possessions in China. So, thinking of something like, I don't know, we want kind of like that line here. Of course, it would be nice to actually take control of Xi'an, as obviously that is, well, Cyan, as obviously that's another source of oil and etc., which is obviously useful. And ultimately, we are going to have to go push on Chuking. How the hell we pronounce it? We need to sever the Burma Road to deprive the Chinese of additional supplies. The war in China can be won. And it will be. It will be won over time. He has a lot of forces over here, but if we push him and we push him hard and continuously, he will fall. Now, the operations over here in the Philippines are going to be interesting. We're going to be landing over here at Davao next turn. Cotabato, maybe 2 days. Well, tomorrow, day after. We have this force over here that will probably be landing over here next turn. So once we do take that base, we're going to load back up and hit this base, or even potentially one of these bases over here. We're basically going to leapfrog and just take control of Mindanao in ideally a week or 2 weeks. That would be really quite good. So your current strategic goals are to capture and control the infrastructure. The goals in China really are to take the actual parts of China that are worthwhile. As far as it goes, the Changsha area, I mean, including this city, and I suppose this city as well. It looks like Mickey Mouse there. Strong little face on. Yeah, there we go. It's a fucking little Mickey Mouse. I don't know what the fuck that is. But this area here is actually the area with the resources. That's what matters. Now, of course, control of the rail line here is absolutely vital to control in China. We need to control this area to actually extract the resources, of which we are doing so. I am going to continue to push on the Chinese to actually knock them out of the war. But the areas of China that actually matter are really this area. This area. That's pretty much it. As far as it goes for actually China in general. Obviously, a lot of these bases are useful, but these are the real areas of interest over here. Okay. Don't forget to take Pal 1. Yes. I'm going to say yes to that. Oh dear. And what's the plan for the Dutch East Indies? Any timescale on moving on them? Well, we are moving on the Dutch East Indies. We will be landing in the short term. Really, as far as it goes, I mean, the issue is it's like I am limited by house rules to the Straits of Malacca. I can't move into the Straits of Malacca until Singapore has fallen. Now, Singapore is going to fall within, I'd say, the next month, give or take. Next few days. Okay. Come on, Duke. Stop being so salty. We're all friends here. Well, we're all people anyway. Right, so as far as it goes then, for Malaya in general, I'm going to say about... it depends, really. What I think I might do here then is from Cotabato, we'll take our fast transport, land a force over here to Kuantan, have them begin to march over here to Temala? Yeah, Temala. I don't know how you pronounce it. In the meantime, we are going to be looking with the 91st Naval Guard. We're going to move as fast as possible down here. We are going to form up that division here. Possibly, I might have some of the armament actually make their way down here as fast as possible to Kuala Lumpur. The entire idea is we take control of these bases, take control of the rail lines, begin to move supply, begin to move engineers, begin to move men down this way. Ultimately, I'm looking to secure an airbase that's actually closer, such as like Kuala Lumpur, so I can actually really put the hurting down on him. Basically, have our bombers over here at Cotabato and fighters down here at Kuala Lumpur. Though, in all honesty, it's irrelevant in regards to the air campaign. The air campaign really doesn't make a massive difference. So, yep, as well, we can see here our forces are holding out at Mersing. Obviously, he has not attacked. I think he's probably even going to go ahead and go ahead with something like a shock attack. Or deliberate attacks, but I think the days of his chances to retake Mersing are, for the most part, over. I don't think he's going to really attempt it anymore. I think he's going to be pulling out. I think he'll probably pull out once we make it to maybe here. Maybe here. But he'll pull back to Johor Bahru, which in all honesty, I'd prefer him to fall back to Johor Bahru than to fall back to Singapore, because at the end of the day, I'm going to have to shock attack over here to actually get to Singapore. But eventually the campaign will end in Singapore. Now, we do have control of these these bases over here. We are sending this force down here. Now, I'd have loved to have sent forces down here into this area, but he does have control of the skies in this area. So it's difficult. So what we are going to do then is actually change up our approach to the situation. The approach to the Dutch East Indies is really going to come over from, not from the north, but more so from the east. Now, of course, we do have our operations over here at Mindanao. Once Mindanao is wrapped up and secured, we are going to be sending our operations to land at Balikpapan, Samarinda, Tarakan, of course, Manado as well, and there is additional bases. I think it's Ternate or additional ones. But basically, what we're going to be doing here is looking to establish control of key air bases within the area. And then what we'll do is, when able to do so, is move the air flotilla headquarters and begin to have our naval bombers secure this area. Now, I do have the 2 light carriers over here. I think I might even bring the 2 escort carriers in to join them once again to really form them up into a larger force. We should have Shoho within the month to join that force as well. So that'll bring us up to 3 light carriers, 2 escort carriers. So 5 carrier task force, obviously not massive carriers, but enough to actually be something worthwhile. And do we have an idea on the current supply level near Mersing or Singapore? I'd imagine, what he's probably done here, we have seen that he did bring additional supplies into Bataan. I'm almost convinced he did bring additional supplies into Bataan. I'm fairly convinced as well he's done the same at Singapore. He's probably brought additional supplies into Singapore. So I can imagine he's probably going to have a fair amount. That's good, Duke. Just keep it that way. Oh dear. But yeah, I'm going to say, I don't know. I know people wanted to see the landings, and they will come. They will come. Of course, we are being slower in this area, but that is due to the fact that there is a big focus on this operation in the South Pacific. We should see our landings over here at Comac, possibly within the next turn. It depends really on how long it's going to take for these 2 forces to actually merge together, and then come down here to Comac. But I'm going to say 2 days. Probably depends on how long this takes. 1 to 2 days until we begin actually putting boots on the shore of New Caledonia. From there, we'll begin to march up. It's good to see that this force is actually here, though. At least it's not actually in the hinterland. So it's going to hurt. And it is the right move. I don't think he should have actually given me any sort of quarters to allow me on the island with no risk. But it seems he is going to actually oppose the landings. But that's fair enough, at least if he actually destroyed that unit on the beaches rather than out. As far as it goes, I don't know. It seems interesting that we are seeing something in the region of 3k over here, but I don't know how accurate that is. If it's only 3,000 to 4,000 men, then I can handle that. I can deal with that. It's not perfect, it's not great, it's more than I would have wanted, but it can be dealt with. We do have the 144th Regiment over here. We do have additional reinforcements moving in, such as the 2nd Field Artillery Regiment, is it the 39th Mortar Battalion? But is it the 8th Tanker Regiment as well? That's going to be on its way shortly. But additional engineers and obviously aircraft will be moving in. Once we do have the 21st Air Flotilla actually at Luganville, I can actually build up my presence here. Yes, we do have intel here on Comac. It does seem as if there is a unit over here at Comac. I actually do not have any information as to how large it is, so it might be a very small unit. I really don't know. It's interesting. Okay, let's go ahead and check the operations report. Yeah, sighted. Yeah, there we go. That is the enemy carry force. Yeah, he's running patrols over Savai. I think he's going to make a move on Savai, so I'm going to look towards actually sending a submarine to actually guard that, perhaps. 2 and 3. Send the Soho to Soho. Oh dear. Groups at Roinema have transferred planes. Yeah, so we admit we lost Yokohama, Maru, and Katsugura-san. But at least we do actually trade, so that's two. It's alright, it's not bad. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I'm going to call the stream about here, actually. We've had a good 2.5 hours, so I do really... I don't know. It's an interesting one. It's a very interesting one, but to be honest, the fact that he hasn't particularly moved too much... possibly he's sounding us out. Possibly he just wants to remain on station to actually hit Tarawa. Don't forget to completely take the Philippines. Obviously, we'd like to do that. Bhutan's going to be a very difficult one, but it would ultimately be wise to take it so then I could actually move forces out without issue. Because at the end of the day, having an American force bottled up there at Bhutan, able to fortify and fight, is bad news. So we are going to have to go in there to Bhutan. It's going to be awful. But at least it's a campaign that we can run over the course of a few weeks, really. We don't have to go in there guns blazing. We'll just take it down slowly. Isolate it. Annihilate it. Well, this is going to be interesting. It's going to be a very interesting one. I mean, that's another turn at which we do have an opportunity to hit him with our aircraft. He might be wondering, well, okay, why am I not seeing anything flying in the daytime? Who knows? The thing is, if we're going on the defensive, he's obviously going to build up his forces in China and just take bases. He'll do it. He can manage it. It'll cost him, but he'll do it. We need to be on the offensive. The thing is, I can't take a lot of troops out. I really can't take troops out of China until we defeat China. So we've got to do that to be able to move our troops due to the house rules. And ideally, I'd like to have these troops actually begin to move down into the Dutch East Indies and then, well, obviously move into India as well. We will be looking at operations in Australia in the short term, actually, fairly short term. Okay. He could secure all of China and push onto India. Yeah. I mean, this is it. If we can actually secure Pakhoi over here in Nanning, then we actually do have a road between between China and Indochina. Let's take a look at the 56. Yep, there we go. So the 56th Division is on its way. No detection there, so we have the Emperor's Hands. The Emperor's Hands are going to be used down here. I'm actually going to use them as something of a wrecking ball. I'm going to have them... I'll have them, I think, sent over here to secure Rabaul, and Port Moresby. I'm going to use a sledgehammer to the nuts in this area, I'm going to say. Sledgehammer, Rabaul, Port Moresby, take control of Horn Island, establish a mine lane operation at Horn Island, and then what we'll begin to do is actually look at operations over here at Derby, potentially, or even over here at Wyndham, and actually begin to push on Darwin from the south. Really... push here. If I secure Darwin, I mean, this might be an area where the fuel is. And this is what we've got to bear in mind. He's sent his fuel somewhere. So it might even be that we can actually take the fuel over here, which would be amazing. Oh dear. No, we can win in China, Duke. We can absolutely win in China. I mean, of course, the game is brilliant, but the Chinese war isn't too amazingly simulated. There are mods out there that do make it significantly harder and significantly slower. I take Papua New Guinea before going for the Aussies. I'm gonna send some forces over here to take control of like Hollandia, and obviously like just New Guinea in general. But it's not a major thing really. He'll have forces out here, but we'll use reconnaissance and identify the weak ones. And we'll go in, we'll just take them slowly but surely, but we'll take control of Papua New Guinea. But I need to go in and take control of the major bases in this area, really. Australia, hypothetically worth it? Is there even hypothetically worth it? Is there something that makes it worthwhile? Is military economically... Okay. Basically, what we need to do here, then, is I'd like to secure Darwin and secure other bases in Australia. Mostly for the point of just rubbing it in THG's face, not that he'd be particularly bothered. He'd be annoyed. He'd make out like he's not, but he'd be annoyed. Ultimately, what I want to do here then is make it difficult. I want to isolate Australia. I'd like to take potentially even a base out here. I mean, that would be extraordinarily far out there. But if it was able to be supported, then it would be quite good. I believe that he would gain emergency troops basically released to him if we took anything below this line. But the thing is, if we can do so, that would be incredible. There is a huge amount of victory points to be won in this location. Like, look at that. So Brisbane's worth 650. If we take a look, Sydney is worth 2,400. Melbourne is worth 2,300. There's a good few thousand points here. And that would be great. It depends really. If we were able to build up a very large force in this area, we could potentially steamroll Southern Australia. Obviously, we've got to get to that point. It's not easy. Not likely. Potentially not even advisable. But it could be done, perhaps. Yeah, I mean, this is it. We are going for the victory. In, I don't know if that's showing Allied major victory at the moment or whether it's an Imperial Japanese major victory. I think it's going to be like Allied victory. I'm not entirely sure. Of course, we do have a lot to carry out. He's winning on victory points here at the moment. Need to reverse that. Oh, Duke. We'll see about that. We'll see about that. And this is it. Darwin is plausible. And you take a look at the rail line. The rail line, it stretches from Darwin to Catherine, but not to Delia Waters. And if we take a look at the actual road network, we can see here the road network is good here from Darwin to Catherine, at least decent. But the rest of the road network is going to take a long time. There's no rail networks over here. Yeah, don't worry yet, Paul. We are going to be taking the Dutch East Indies first. I'd say the 56 is part of the 7 Pacific operations. As at the end of the day, I do need to have mobile forces to actually really push here. We can't just throw resources into this area and not commit. We have to commit and take these. We have to... Basically, how it's going to work is basically we take control of New Caledonia. That has got to happen. And we take control of the Coral Sea. We take control of this area. And then we begin to isolate Australia. Of course, Fiji needs to fall at some point. But yeah. But don't worry, the Dutch East Indies is going to go ahead. I don't know why you guys think I don't want the Dutch East Indies. I really do. I get it, it's difficult to see what is actually happening because you guys are seeing turn after turn where there's no land-ins. And that's fine, I totally understand that one. But believe me, the operations there will begin. They will. But, just like that, I'm going to say thank you so very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope you guys have thoroughly enjoyed this. And if you have, please do consider supporting myself on Patreon. Well, myself and the channel on Patreon. It is really awesome if you guys do. Obviously, if you can't, don't worry about it. We've all got to eat at the end of the day. But, yeah, the funds go to supporting the channel, supporting myself, obviously, and purchasing books. I mean, books come in so very handy. But I'd like to say thank you all so very much, and I do hope to see you again in the future. Until next time, do stay tuned for more. We might not have struck the American carriers this turn, but there's always next turn, and the turn after. He continues to keep them in place. Let's find a way to punish him. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, goodbye for now.